The content presented on the following show is intended for satirical and educational purposes only. The views, opinions, and statements expressed by panelists and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the host, production team, or channel. Additionally, any third-party content featured in this program is used in compliance with fair use under United States copyright law, which allows for commentary, criticism, news report, teaching, and research. Viewer discretion is advised, and we encourage independent thought and discussion.
Damn, it's cold out here. You ready? Welcome to Saturday SmackDown, hosted by Fatty.
Melanin. Legacy versus RogueC debate. Saturday SmackDown, 5 p.m. ST. Hosted by Fatty. Untouchable Empire. Breaking the mold, chills down your spine and the flow is so cold. We don't need a hero to save the day. Untouchable Empire clearing the way. Step in the arena, we holding the crown. Saturday SmackDown, we locking it down. Yeah, we bring the heat and we bringing the noise. This is grown woman business. Step aside, boys. The paradigm shifted. We rewriting the page. No capes on our back when we step on the stage. The gender war is here. Yeah, we pulling the string. Look at the facts. Women wanna be king. Yeah. Women wanna be king. You talking about manners, you talking about pride, but we take the power and push it aside. No room for the weak, yeah, we change the delivery. Open your eyes, women killed chivalry, killed it and buried it deep in the dirt. Rocking the runway and ripping the shirt. Superman flying, but we run the whole flight. Melanin legacy ruling the night. Paradigm shifted, we rewriting the page. No capes on our back when we step on the stage. The gender war is here, yeah, we pulling the string. Look at the facts. Women wanna be king. Yeah, women wanna be king. On the host, yeah, the Empire's grand RogueC in the mix now. They in the stand 5 p.m. East and the clock is on fire. We taking the throne and we climbing up higher. Get ready for the final strike. Get ready for the final strike. We don't need a kryptonite to make you fall. Untouchable Empire, we standing tall. The debate is locked, the verdict is in. We don't just participate, we play to win. Flip the whole script, yeah, we run the whole town. Saturday SmackDown, we taking the crown. The paradigm shifted, we rewriting the page. No capes on our back when we step on the stage. The gender war is here, yeah, we pulling the string. Look at the facts, women wanna be king. Yeah, women wanna be king. Melanin, legacy. DS, RogueC. Saturday SmackDown, 5 p.m. SK. Untouchable empire. Gender war. Women wanna be king.
Welcome to a special edition of the Team Fatty Show, Saturday SmackDown. We have two heavyweights in the building ready to go. The friends, before we do, let me explain you the rules of the show, and let me explain you too what we're going to do today, okay? So for the link to jump on the panel is in the description. Y'all only can do it when the time runs out, okay? We're going to have a 2-hour debate. We're going to have a 2-hour debate, 3 topics, 3 prompts from moment 0 to 1 hour and 30. On the last 30 minutes, we are going to read the questions from the chat, okay? So $20 and up, 1 question for our debaters, and they are going to answer. If there's no questions, I will be the one in charge of it, okay? So if you want to actually challenge the debaters and you don't want to be on the show, you don't want to show your face, you can send $20 and challenge Melanin or RogueC, okay? This debate doesn't have winners and losers. At one time, I'm going to open the panel when the clock is out so the challengers can join the show. If you have smoke for RogueC or Melanin by the end of the debate, y'all can pull up one and have a one-on-one with them for 10-15 minutes, and we go from there.
The panel is now open.
The wait is over. The gates are open. All who seek the panel, enter now.
Other than that, friends, their cash apps are going to be rolled at the bottom. Gentlemen and ladies, the sisterhood needs to compensate these lovely ladies, okay? The sisterhood. And y'all need to simp just a little bit so they can get some lunch and dinner money for tomorrow, okay? So once again, YouTube is for free. They are giving you a great show. Don't forget to support the ladies, friends. And the same thing with the fellas. Next week is my birthday on Saturday, so I'm going to do a little bit of party, okay? Because I need to get some stripper money. But on next week, I'm fully situated. The AC is on the wall, and we are going to have Saturday SmackDown every single Saturday, okay? Every single Saturday, we're going to have Saturday SmackDown. So buckle up. We're in places, and I'm counting on you, untouchables. Other than that, I think it's time for us to start the show. The Saturday SmackDown show starts now.
In a world where words hit harder than fists, where minds clash like titans, the arena awaits. From every corner of the globe, the bold and the fearless step forward, ready to battle with nothing but their voices, their wit, and their will to win. Here, it's raw. It's ruthless. No gloves, no rules. Just pure, unfiltered debate. And only the sharpest survive.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Untouchable Arena, this is Saturday SmackDown.
So make sure you tell the full details about the thirstiness and hungriness of these criminal that black women seem to be infatuated with and can't leave alone.
But yet, you want to present to the community that you have a straight man, that you're a straight man that care about women. So what I'm saying is, it's not adding up, my brother. Brother.
You both. You do pander. You know you pander. So am I telling men to do this and this now or pander?
You play both sides, Thanos, for your benefit. You're an opportunist. You play both sides.
And I'm not gonna sit here and allow a foreigner like you to tell me otherwise. Take your tree branch swinging back to Africa. You're not supposed to be here because your brain is not compatible with this program here, this country. It's not.
So all I'm saying is, if you want to do this right, come how you are. Because from my understanding, you throw out threats, you throw out a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't know what empowering thing you're on, because you don't empower nobody.
I didn't empower you.
I'm higher than the show, and I don't have to follow
that's not how you debate. Right? The fact of the matter is you didn't substantiate them being the foundation for the black community. Now we're talking about getting to the bag, and you're double talking. So the question, either man, is yes or no, are black people getting to the bag?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! It's time to do.
Friends, it's time to duel on the let me put y'all names a little bit bigger so people can actually find y'all. On the left corner, Lover Girl, the original, okay? The original Lover Girl, RogueC, she's in the building. RogueC, how you doing?
I'm good. I hope you all are. Should I look meaner? Should I go like give y'all a little?
Yeah, sure. Yes, exactly what you should do. On the right corner, Miss Melanin Legacy. How are you doing, Mel?
I'm doing wonderful, Fatty. Hey, RogueC.
Friends, once again, the cash apps are rolling in the bottom. I'm going to be promoting their cash apps because during the debates, the debaters need to eat. Afterwards, we try to get our goals if the show is good enough. I'll remind y'all again, once again, $20 and up for us to read the questions to them, $20 and up. And then in the bottom, there's a link. Once the time is over, we're going to open the panel so you can challenge the ladies. I'll be sending everybody to another untouchable executive Princess Cammy after the show if we actually last this long. Other than that, ladies, any question, comments, or concerns before we start the show when you put the clock up?
Let's do it.
We good?
Got a good one for y'all.
Let's go. Super chats are going to be read every 30 minutes. We're going to stop the clock to read the super chats. So keep sending them, friends. Keep sending them, friends. And I am going to close the case.
Will the guard please lock the cage doors at this time?
Get the fuck up! Simon says, get the fuck out.
You're going nowhere. I got you for 3 minutes. 3 minutes of playtime.
Mr. Spellman, thank you very much for blessing us with the $20 baller. Okay, I'm going to buy an hamburger with that. So thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you.
Trump got these prices going up. Woo-wee. Let's go. One fatty burger, please.
And it's time to start.
It's time to do.
Friends. First topic, the gender war is profitable. That's why women don't want to solve it. Melanin as the affirmative. So I'm going to let Melanin start this round. RogueC is going to go first when we do final thoughts, okay? So Melanin starts now, and then with the final thoughts, RogueC starts on that part. Melanin, why do you think the gender war is profitable? Because women don't want to solve it. Please explain what you mean by that.
So I feel that women don't want to solve the gender war. And because the reason why they don't want to solve the gender war is because it's profitable based off society. If you notice, most of the men bashing channels ran by women, they get a lot of support. They get a lot of push, as well as the gender war. I mean, well, a correct balance requires for, to me, the man and woman to know their place, right? In my opinion, it's man, woman, and child. Women don't seem to like the balance, to know the structure. This is why we have in society where women want to make just as much, if not more than men. They want to do the same thing that men do in society. So I don't want to ramble. So I guess I'll leave it at that for now.
RogueC?
So the reason why I'm on the negative of this is social media rewards outrage. Men make money criticizing women. Women make money criticizing men, right? Dating coaches, podcasts, reaction channels, divorce lawyers, influencers, news media, all these social media, all these groupings actually benefit on the gender war. So to say that it's just women alone is already a false statement, because we do have to acknowledge that people don't want peace. You know, a lot of the times they actually enjoy the fact that the battle of the sexes is always happening. And it does have financial and social incentives to keep the conversation going on both sides for both men and women. So to say that women are the only ones benefiting from it, and that's why the gender war keeps going, is false.
So what financial gain compared to the financial gain of women are men experiencing with the gender war?
You do have the same situation of the male dating coaches or the male influencers that are actually benefiting from the clicks and views, and also the avenue of getting the same YouTube, TikTok, all the incentives of them, even the ones that also take it over to CNN and Fox News. They are still getting paid for that same incentive to keep it going. We even saw with, you know, one of the most famous ones, he was starting to actually have interviews with Nicki Minaj, Future. He was in music videos. He was getting on TV shows. So there is an incentive for keeping it going and trying to stay on one side over the other.
Well, but wouldn't that be more of men are finally starting to respond to women in the years of them having something to say about men? Like, I feel like it started with women first, the Oprahs, the Ricky Lakes, and things of that nature. It wasn't up until more recent times that men actually started speaking up, fighting against what women had to say.
So the only difference that makes any of this going on, because a lot of people can say Oprah, a lot of people can say the talk show host conversations, the only difference is what was barbershop talk has now also begun having a platform. YouTube has made it where you don't have to just have a signed deal with some type of TV broadcast show to go ahead and have these conversations. Men were having these conversations just the same way women were having these conversations in the home, in the salons, and everything else. So to just say that men are now responding is not true. Men have always had a way of responding. It's just now actually being publicized the same way Oprah or any other talk show host could have also publicized it.
Yeah, but the fact that you're saying that it just recently started getting publicized would mean that women have had the upper hand on being the bigger voice in the gender war, which means that it's been more profitable for a longer period of time for women over men.
Is that the upper hand or just women running their mouths, though? Because I don't see what the actual overall benefit was. You are talking about Oprah. You're talking about certain people who benefited all that. That was not a win for the collective of women.
It actually was, though, because Oprah is a big voice, not just amongst Black women, but just women in general. A lot of the times, the things that Oprah said or influenced was the outcome. There just wasn't a bunch of women back in the day that had a public platform at that time. But I did say Ricky Lake as well. Most of the talk shows were ran by women, not men.
Yeah, but then you also still did get men talk shows, even with Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer profited highly off of just complete chaos and nonsense between men and women. And other Mark Hovey did.
Okay, but Jerry Springer would bring on women to bash men, to make men look bad. There was never really situations where on Jerry Springer, men showed up to bash the woman. It was more so trying to figure out if he was the dad of the child or not.
That was more so Maury Povich, but still, yes, if the men wanted to say this, 304 is out here talking this and she's saying that I'm the baby daddy and I'm not the baby daddy, yes, that is still a form of bashing. So again, at the end of the day, everyone was able to profit from it. It's not to say that it was right or wrong. It's just a matter to try to say one profited over the other is false.
So I disagree. Because like I said, women have been in the spotlight longer to be able to more voice how they felt about men and what they were doing. But just to move it a little bit, why the gender war is still more profitable for the women, we could take it to the government, the Section 8, the child support, the government assistance, just to down the man. You'll keep his child away. You rather charge him child support and get all of that assistance over the father being in the home, which would also be a situation that proves that women feels that the gender war is more profitable over the, I guess you would say, the nuclear family.
So with that being said, I do need to clarify if we're speaking strictly about the gender war that we see online, or if we are talking about the overall, because the overall government assistance was not necessarily deemed to be just based off of the gender war. There was a gap in the household, and the government filled that gap. So when you want to talk about food stamps, you want to talk about child support, it is to also make sure that responsibility is still being had, even if the two adults aren't working out together. So I just want to clarify, when we speak of the gender war, are we strictly talking about online presence, or are we talking about overall?
We're talking about the gender war being profitable, whatever that looks like.
Okay.
Okay.
Like I said,
So in regards to what you're saying about it being there to make sure that the child is taken care of, that is what it's designed for. But a yes or no answer to this question: do you feel that that is what women use it for?
Yes. Because the exception never makes the rule. So yes, majority of the time, because a lot of these times we think that women are using child support and other systems to try to substantiate or to try to fill in the gaps with their actual livelihood. For the most part, the average person is not getting any more than maybe $200 a week. And that's actually a higher number compared to what a lot of people are actually getting. So to think that women are just profiting off of child support alone or food stamps alone or any other type of government assistance alone is kind of foolish and chaotic, because at the end of the day, that is why a lot of women are still opting more to have the man instead of just the government assistance. Again, the government assistance is just there to fill in the gaps until the man comes around.
So you're saying that the women are using the system, the government system, because the fathers are not there?
Absolutely. That's usually what the idea of food stamps, child support, and women in WIC, infant children care, all that is for.
But would that be valid when we're seeing the amount of men that are coming out saying how they can't have access to their children? And the amount of women that we're seeing saying that they rather make him pay child support, or Section 8 got my back, food stamps, I don't need a man, I don't need him here. It's never really in favor of the child. It seems like it's more in favor of the finance.
I can't agree with that, because again, at the end of the day, you can't get any of these benefits without the child actually being present. Even when you are using the benefits, certain things they will either tax more, or they will actually just straight up, like WIC. We already know if that does not have the WIC mark on it, you cannot pay for it with anything else besides actual cash. We even know with certain food stamps, you can't pay for hot food, or in certain areas, you can't pay for certain things, period. And even now we're looking at how legislation is trying to correct the idea of who can get the child support and for how long, and even the whole idea of any other government assistance. There is a correction that does not seem to benefit the women over the men. It is just to kind of make everything stable and balanced at the end of the day.
And you said the way that they're trying to make it fair is by doing what? Sorry.
Pretty much they have raised the standards, or what actually gets you able to get the government assistance in the first place. What markings make you available for said things anyways. We have seen a whole big deal. People of all races, of all genders are coming around saying, I can't apply for XYZ because I don't qualify. And a lot of people are starting to realize how that is affecting the overall.
Wouldn't that be something that's more of a recent update?
Again, it's not about recent or not. If you're talking about how the gender war is profitable, if we're just strictly saying that with this update, it makes it less profitable strictly just for women.
Yeah, but that's you trying to talk about more modern. I'm talking about overall, not necessarily the things that are being updated now through research. By design, women carry themselves in a way that they rather have the finances over the nuclear family.
So the fact that we are trying to even discuss the overall, we are looking at maybe less than, it is 2020 now. So I would say around the 70s. So we're looking at maybe 40 to 50 years of this actually being a system and a situation. So to say that in 40 to 50 years, that this is enough information for us to really go by to say that the gender war is more profitable for women is unfair, because beforehand, women had nothing but to rely on men. And men actually benefited the most from that because they had the woman in the house. They had the children in the home. There was no questions asked
Yeah,
about
but
that.
Wouldn't be a gender war. That's the nuclear family. That's not a
So
gender
I'm
war.
saying, if we're looking at the overall, we only have, and if you're saying that we can't look at the more modern twist, the more modern twist is the fact that within this 40 to 50 year system, there is correction being made. So you can't really just say overall,
regardless
it's
of
been a
the
benefit. Mhm.
Yeah, but regardless of the corrections being made, the corrections are being made because it's been vocalized how unfair the process is. The process wasn't giving its due diligence on both sides of the spectrum. It was just more so she said whatever, and man, you got to pay up.
But again, that's how systems work. So if we're looking at 40 to 50 years of this system being in play. That is how checks and balances actually work out. We have to look at how the system does when we put this part on plate. And then we're going to see, okay, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. Okay, it's time for an update. It's time to tweak it. And again, the fact that men probably had not vocalized this prior is also why it could have taken so long.
Well, men probably didn't speak up sooner because the courts and societies favor women. And there's also a lot of men that are raised in single mother households where like the narrative of the woman being the one in charge, you never go against your mother type of rhetoric would make men be more hesitant to speak up. On top of the fact that, what were you gonna say?
Go ahead.
Okay. On top of the fact that it wasn't up until recently that men's voices were actually being respected on any of the topics that surrounded what were happening with their finances in regards to a woman.
So I do want to ask a clarifying question. Are we able to say that every race of man has the same number of single mother homes?
No.
Okay. And are we able to say that majority of the ones who are making the laws and making the court systems do what they do, are they women?
No, men make the decisions from the influence of women.
So the government that is majority of men, Supreme Court included, that is majority men, is getting influenced by women.
Yeah, most of the decisions that men make in government is to protect the women. If you just see the way that society's going, us being not harmed, men not being able to have their way sexually, creating a system where women could go out and make their own income, and it's like no longer, it's only going through a man's bank account. The right to vote was extended to women. So yeah, I would have to say, yeah.
So are we arguing that women should not have the safety, the provision, the protection, then the right to
No,
vote?
I'm just letting you know that men make decisions on those levels based off of the needs of women, because if it was the needs of men, I guess women would feel like enslaved or like they didn't have any rights.
So basic human rights should not have been allowed to women. The ability to vote, the ability to have finances, the ability to work for said finances, to be able to cover themselves, the ability to even get a home without a man. That should not have been given to women.
Well, if you're talking about a nuclear family setting, there would be no need because you're being covered and protected by your provider, which would be a man.
So if that man unfortunately passed away, what would that woman actually have in play for her to?
That's when you would inherit his 401k, his life insurance policy, the house that should be under your name because you're the wife.
So we even know when it comes down to, unfortunately, our community, most of our community doesn't even have life insurance. Most of our community is not even financially literate to even know of the opportunities or options or any of these things that they could have, where if a woman was actually in a situation of a man passing away, she could be protected. And then still, that would still have to also go to the next of kin, who was the next man of that woman. That woman would not technically get that. So either her son, her brother, or someone else would still be in charge of that. That would still not be able to cover that woman specifically and her family.
You're talking about in a marriage where he passed away?
If we were going based off that law, yes. If we were going based off that mindset of the nuclear family was to cover the woman, if the husband were to unfortunately pass away, and then if that woman did not have a bank account, if that woman did not have the rights or anything else to that home, it would actually go to the next of kin that is a male, based off of that logic.
Okay, and even if it did back in those times, if we want to have this conversation, but back in those times, there were situations where the men would provide and cover for his brother's family in a way of passing. So I don't know. I think you're trying to go for the he would fuck her over type of thing, but I still think she'd be covered and taken care of based off the way men conducted themselves in that time.
I'm not necessarily saying that it's a complete just going to screw a woman over, but I am saying that it is actually more sufficient and even safer now for women to have the rights that they do have. For women to be able to say that if a man is trying to knock me upside my head, that he should go to jail for that. The same way if a woman hits another woman, another child, or anything else, that same thing should happen to her. When we're saying that women should be able to go to work and be financial, because again, not everyone gets married at the same rate, unfortunately. Not every woman gets married at all. We hear the statistics all the time that there's so many women to men. So even if that woman immediately just goes out into the world, that doesn't mean she's immediately going to even have a husband. So she should still be able to financially care for herself, correct?
Yes, but I've already explained how that would be, but I feel like you're kind of running every time we're getting somewhere on something that you're saying, because I feel like we're going off the topic of the gender war being profitable.
So and that's why I was asking earlier for the clarification, because the gender war was actually still marketed as a social media thing overall, besides the idea of government assistance, which is why I asked that earlier. So if we're talking about the overall, or if we're talking about the social media, that's where I originally started my argument from.
Yeah, but we could talk about both, because based off of, if we want to talk about social media and TV exposure, women ran it. That's all it was majority women running daytime and talk show. So, and most of the things that women talk about is usually men. It's not any type of self-improvement, because I think earlier you said social media or the internet loves like a fight. So most of what we were watching back then was men bashing behavior. And the numbers rose. We tuned in as women, and some of the stuff were implemented in our personal lives. This is why in 2026, we want to make what he makes or even more. We want to do what he does as well. We don't find anything special about being soft and feminine, which would prove, in my opinion, that women feel there's no reason to solve it, because it gives them their independence financially and physically from a man, which would make the gender war profitable. Men would rather you come back home and be under his covering, and him be the provider and you be the home maker. So I don't see how we would say that men are leading it. Whatever they're doing now based off of social media or what they're responding to in the world is based off of tired of getting kicked in the ass by women. They saw how much money women were making from it, and then they realized, you know what, there's men going through exactly what I'm going through, and I can make some sort of profit since she doesn't want to behave anyway. And that's how that birthed. We just recently got a Kevin Samuels a couple of years ago, and that's really when it started to change.
So that is why I also said earlier the answer to a Kevin Samuels or anyone else, you could say with Ricky Lake, and Oprah. That's why I brought up the Jerry Springers. That is why I said for every answer of a woman being on TV doing the male bashing, you did have another male who was doing the same thing. If he was able to go ahead and do the whole women this, and then I'm going to also show this from the man's side. A lot of times algorithms reward conflict. That is usually the main situation. Negative emotions will create comments, shares, debates, reaction videos. And even if you want to go backwards, it stirred up conversation. It filled butts and seats for all these live shows to have these conversations, whether it be Ricky Lake and Oprah. So that's why I said originally it's not just benefiting only women. It benefits both.
No, the only women are looked at in a positive light for speaking up and having a voice. We see me and you are both in male spaces, right? Women get rewarded more. I don't care if it's super chats, cash apps, whatever it is. The sisterhood sticks together in a situation where bashing a man is the topic. Even in situations where men might say something that's facts about women, you don't see the cash fly through as you do amongst the feminist men bashing places. You don't. That's literally a fact.
So the beauty behind what you just said, that the women are in male spaces, even before Oprah Winfrey had the Oprah Winfrey Network, her show was still under where? Was it a woman's space or a man's space?
I don't know. You have to inform me.
So originally all the TV show networks were male owned. Oprah recently, if we're going to talk about recent times, actually got her own TV network, right? If you look at all these spaces, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, where the gender war is actually the most profitable, it's still profiting the creators of those spaces more than anyone else. And majority of those are men. And that is why they let the algorithms go the way that they go. That is why the algorithms are always going to throw in your face the gender war, the gender war, the gender war. Because these men are profiting just as much as these women, if not more.
Yeah, I think I've said everything I needed to say about this. I disagree with you. From internet to family court, Section 8, divorce court, whatever it is, I feel that it's been more profitable for women.
Again, all male based.
Any final thoughts?
Absolutely.
On this topic? Yes.
It's still all male based areas that they are still profiting. Supreme Court, mostly male judges. Internet, mostly male spaces. TV networks, mostly male spaces. So it profits both.
But nothing, you keep saying that, but we're gonna move it on the judge. We're moving the judge has a protocol to follow, right? And if we were to pull the numbers, majority of these situations are in favor of the mom. They could both be drug addicts, right? They should both not deserve the child, but somehow the mother still gets them. The father could be in a better position, would give the child a better experience, but because she's the mother, she's going to get rewarded. I don't see how we're trying to pin it on the judge to not make it seem as if the women aren't getting more of the profit, even if it's, I guess you could say, the white man that's running these businesses that's rewarding the behavior. It's still not in favor of a man in no type of way.
So again, if we also look at those numbers, unfortunately, it's because majority of the men aren't even showing up to court. But again, it's still the male lawmakers. It is still all these men who are still benefiting from the chaos of no longer implementing the nuclear home. We even saw the whole reason why the man is not inside the house is because the lawmakers, who were also men, were still benefiting from the fact that men were not inside the house.
That's not true. Women, there was literally Section 8 or food stamps. Literally back then, if they came, they used to do house visits. And if you had a man in the home, they would cut off your benefits. So you can't say, so how is that not profitable for the woman? The fact that you chose, instead of just saying, I'm gonna get off government assistance and figure it out within the family, you actually made him leave so the government could keep paying you.
Because the government's still getting paid and the government is still made up of majority men.
Yeah, so the government and the woman is getting paid.
Which
has nothing to do with the regular working man.
But the government is still full of men. So thus, the gender war still benefits both. My only argument is that it benefits both.
Okay, but I don't have an issue with saying it benefits both, but it benefits women more.
Not necessarily.
I mean, I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to say there's never a situation, because we just covered social media. So, but even with social media, right? And you're talking about what we do in the YouTube spaces. Like, I don't see how it's a man's fault that women jump on these panels, say and do stupid things, and it gets clipped up, and we're going to be mad or we're going to say that it's benefiting them because a woman chooses to come up here acting stupid. How is it a man's fault? You have no decorum and no common sense, and you get clipped up.
So to say that it's a fault would be inaccurate because no one's saying that the fault belongs on anyone. Male creators still benefit, whether it be the red pill men, the passport bros, your dating coaches. Like I said earlier, all these other channels are still businesses at the end of the day. So that is also why they are signing up for this. The men who are doing this are still benefiting. They're getting the clicks and views. They're getting the monetization. They're getting paid for it, just like the women. And then to also try to argue that all women are a monolith would also be incorrect, because the same way you say that women are coming up on these profiles acting a plumb fool, you can see actual decent women who are also coming up and still actually trying to represent you as well. Yourself included.
Not in the majority, though. So,
but that's the whole point of the algorithm.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't have a problem with you saying that men have benefited, but the majority of the benefit goes to the woman. Mm-hmm. It does. But that's fine. I yield.
You're fine.
So I will make a pause on the clock real quick and read the super chats because we got to the end of the first topic. Good job, ladies, for actually carrying it. Okay.
I appreciate you, Mel.
I'll make sure to read the super chats now on this break. We're going to the second topic. Remember, the last 30 minutes, we're going to answer the questions from the super chats, $10 and up. I'm already making notes too because I have questions for the ladies. And then at the end of the clock, we're going to open the panel so everybody can pull up and challenge our debaters. Okay. Thank you very much, Snap, for the Untouchable membership.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
Thank you very much, Yoshua. Sorry for the membership.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
Willing to Win. Thank you very much for becoming a member.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
We have Willing to Win back again with another. How do you have two members? That's
Untouchable Empire, baby.
RogueC. Rocks, thank you very much for becoming a member.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
My boy Twisted Pub became a member yesterday. Thank you so much.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
Now we go to the super chats from this show. TLG, Rogue Chapman versus Melanin lip gloss. Let's see how this goes. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. We have TLG. Couldn't sworn Melanin has already been informed to remove the Cash App and put the text app phone number up there. Thank you very much for the suggestion. Shadow Dragon TV, of course, another Untouchable exec.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
With the membership, I appreciate you, sir. Willie in the building says, is RogueC using AI live on debate? Looks down. No, RogueC is reading.
Rogue has notes.
She asks if she could read notes, and notes are notes. So yes, absolutely. Thank you very much, Willie. TLG gifted the membership.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
Thank you so much, sir. We have Red Lipstick Vibe saying, for my empire, Colt dude. Yeah, you better watch it. You better watch it. Red and A Toshi with 20 for supporting the show. Thank you very much for the $20. No text, just love. Willie says, in identical situations where a man and a woman both make $100K a year, child support max out the man every time and rarely max out the woman. Thank you very much, Willie. We have TLG saying the serpent represents the system. Eve represents woman. Use your head to figure out the rest. We have Vapors in the building. Shout out to my boy DJ Vapors with the $10 ball. And finally, last but not least, Akeem says, I love Melanin. So, ladies, let's go back to the topics.
Let's get ready to rumble!
And now this one is a little bit more controversial. Woman killed Chivalry.
Untouchable Empire, baby.
Okay, so
it's time to do.
RogueC, please start with this one. Woman killed Chivalry. You have the negative. Why do you think woman didn't kill Chivalry, please go ahead and interrupt.
So is it okay? Like I said, I prepped. I just want to make sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So one, chivalry was not a gift that women stole. It was a social custom that evolved along society. As women gained financial independence, gender roles changed. Dating became more casual, and men themselves became less invested in traditional courtship. To place the death of chivalry solely on women ignores the choices that men have also made and the broader cultural shifts that we all participated in.
Okay. So to me, chivalry was something that was supposed to be a give and take situation. The only reason why chivalry is dead is because women walked away from their responsibility in regards to chivalry. Some of the things I said earlier in the first topic, but to reference wanting to do the same job that a man can do, wanting equal pay, even men giving you flowers, coffee dates, things like that. Women constantly say, I could do that for myself. I could take myself there. I need more, I need Dubai and I need more and more and more. So once men's efforts started being rejected and shamed, they stopped. So to me, I think the women are the start of the chivalry being dead.
So I would have to counter that, but because chivalry is a choice. So if women are the all-powerful doers and beers that men have to just strictly bow down to, and that's not what I'm usually hearing in arguments, then women can't stop a man from actually doing what he chooses to do. So if a man is choosing to be chivalrous...
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if a man is choosing to be chivalrous by opening doors, holding out her chair, if a man is choosing to go ahead and do these things for her, I can't, as a woman, necessarily stop Fatty if Fatty still wants to go ahead and do those things.
Of course, we can't stop Fatty if he wants to do those things, but Fatty will stop himself if he does these things and there's no thank you. There's no smile. You're met with evil eyes. No sort of thank you, no femininity. So, of course, we can't stop him, but he's not going to keep doing it for women in majority if all of them keep responding in a negative manner.
So I will concede to the point that, yes, chivalry does actually need reciprocity. I will most definitely agree with you. And at the end of the day, that is still also the fact that a man can choose who he does want to be chivalrous to. So that's still not technically the death of chivalry. Again, it's still a choice. So unless, unfortunately, and no one's wishing this on anybody, unless all men die, chivalry can't die.
Okay, so do you feel men are as chivalrous as they were back in the day?
Yes. If we're going strictly off of anecdotal experience, absolutely. But again, that's why I said I do concede to your point of chivalry requiring reciprocity. Now, what I will say is it does not require dependency. So a lot of times men need to understand that if one woman, two women, three women are not going to say, thank you, sir. Let me lick your boots, sir. Thank you so much. I'm bowing down to you, sir. It's okay. Because then we also have to ask the question, is chivalry actually just something that men want to do? Or are they looking for something in reward because of it? Because again, if you are saying that I want something out of it, then men would need to say this. If men are saying, I want to thank you before I open the door for you, I don't think a lot of women are actually going to have any issue with it.
So what do women do for men just for the sake of doing it and wanting nothing in return?
I mean, are we saying collectively with all men? No, are we saying your man, her man?
Name something. Name something that women do for men just because and want nothing in return.
I mean, I know plenty of times if a woman is actually in love with the man, everything she does for him, whether it's the household chores, cooking, cleaning, having his children.
And how? Because if you're cooking and cleaning and having the children, he's supposed to be being a provider, correct?
Again, that's why it's not a fact of.
But is that yes or no?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes. But again, that's the whole point of reciprocity. That's why I give, you take, I give. That is how
that will ruin your
situations work. That's why.
That's ruining your.
Not at all. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I don't mind the interjection. Go ahead.
No, I was saying that's the whole point of the reciprocity argument. The argument that I made is the fact that it's a dependency, that if men are actually wanting women to strictly be dependent, that's not going to work. Because again, at that point, that is more so of I'm holding something over your head to force you to do something. So if chivalry is an act of kindness, kindness is not something you do just because you want something out of it. That's all I'm arguing.
Okay, so if every time you go to this certain spot, you know you're going to get slapped in the face, are you still going to that spot?
Of course not.
And you know they're going to slap. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. How do we keep expecting men to be chivalrous when they're getting no reward? We're not even smiling at them for anything that they're doing. We think that feminism is the reason why we're able to be safe, more safe than what we used to be out in the streets. But technically, that's because of men in chivalry. If you want to be specific, the reason why we're not getting bopped up over our side of our head and able to go out in the clubs and wear the things that we wear.
Is that chivalry or more so social customs? Because that's what I argued earlier. As social customs change, then so does the actual dynamics of men and women, which is why I even said with the idea of hookup culture, I will agree with you that the reward is kind of lessened at this point, because if we're going to bring up the whole idea of chivalry and hookup culture, that has modernized the reason why a lot of times men aren't going to do the things that they used to do. Because if you are going to go ahead and give the cow without him having to buy it, then yeah, that makes sense why a man wouldn't have to open your car door if he knows he's still going to get some poom poom at the end of the date. He wouldn't have to do half the stuff that he was actually going to do beforehand to actually try to get something out of it, if that is the reason why he's doing it. I still like to believe that men are doing these things because they are actually kind and they actually don't want anything in return.
Yeah, but but is it on a broader scale, or has it lessened over time? I'm not saying that it totally doesn't exist. I'm just simply saying it's not as broad, not as able to be noticed as it should be, because it's been killed by women and the behaviors.
So that's the thing. If you're saying something is killed, it's completely gone. It's gone. It's dead. So that's why I like the way that this argument is actually substantiated, because the whole point is it's not dead. It's just if men are completely choosing differently on who deserves it, we can't get mad at that. But to say that women killed chivalry is a fallacy.
Wouldn't you say that chivalry used to be something that was more of a standard across the board?
And like I said, as things modernize,
would you answer yes or no first?
Of course. But yes, so as things modernize, things change.
What exactly modernized though?
The availability of women, the capacity of women and men, everything that.
What do you mean by availability?
Like I said, hookup culture. A lot of times where we read the story of the white knight who's trying to get the damsel in distress. Oh, help me, please, white knight, please. It was also for that knight to actually kind of get the girl.
Okay, but
these men are not getting the girl for less.
Okay, I'm just saying so the white knight would get shamed. That we would call him a simp nowadays. So that's killing that chivalry, because women would shame that white knight. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say it's gone all the way, but to say that chivalry is not as impactful as it was back in the day compared to now because of changes. The only thing that's been changing is women. Men have been the same. So how is it not because of women? It's not as lucrative as it used to be.
Because again, if we're only looking at chivalry as for something that men can gain something from, it was really not anything.
Okay, but then that's when I asked you, because that's a shaming tactic. So this is why I asked you to name something that women do and want nothing in return. They're just doing it just to be nice to men. What is that? You can't be cooking and cleaning or having children because you expect financial, physical, lay down your life for me coverage. So that's not for no reason.
That is such a broad thing, because majority of men aren't opening car doors, they're not opening the doors, they're not tipping their hats, they're not putting their jackets over water puddles, right?
Women shame that. That's a simp now. That man would be a simp in 2026. The women are the ones calling him the simp, not other men. So how are women not killing chivalry?
So majority of the time I hear the word simp, it's coming out of a man's mouth. But again, I know that's anecdotal evidence, but even if we look at this space, you don't hear women majority of the time calling men simps. That's not a real thing. You don't hear women saying anything about that in songs. You don't hear women saying anything. That's not an actual thing if we're looking strictly at social media. In real life, I don't think any of your family members, if they're not like you, if any of the women in your space, have you actually heard women in your real life use the word simp?
Yes. And there was something you were saying I was going to respond to, but I lost it. But yes, we know that women call men simps in real life. Okay, I just remembered. So Who gets the girl first, the bad boy or the nice guy?
The guy who gets the girl first is the guy who gets the girl first.
No, we're not going to do that. You need to pick a side. We're not doing that.
But that's not a side you can pick because there are quote unquote nice guys that still get the girl.
Let's do majorities 51%, please.
Okay. So 51% would still technically be, you can't say that's the bad boy. Because what are we basing that off of?
Who gets the girls first, the bad boy or the nice guy?
I need clarification.
51 or 50.
So I need clarification of what makes the quote unquote bad boy versus the good guy.
Whatever that looks like for you.
Again, I don't.
I mean, we both know what a bad boy and a good guy is. I don't understand why we can't just go one way or another. Earlier, we were just discussing how men are making a profit off of the bad behaviors of women. So we could clearly pick a side when we want to. So just pick one.
Because that's not a fair side. You can have the quote unquote bad boy. Hold on, I'm explaining. You can have the bad boy on paper who still has a heart of gold, who is still a good guy regardless. The Robin Hoods. Robin Hood still got the girl. So that's what I'm saying. Just because he's deemed a bad boy or a bad guy doesn't mean that he's a bad guy to her. Versus we can hear the situations of the good guy, the nice guy, actually being the one that hurts the woman the most.
This is semantics. I feel like you know exactly what I mean when I'm saying it. The bad boy gets the girl first. She doesn't want the good guy until after she's turned into a baby mama or been used up or hitting the wall. We know this. So that's just what's going on. Nobody's saying that the good guy doesn't exist, but he's not the first pick. We'd have more wives.
Again, because that's not a fair thing. Because if we're going to go based of our community, where the Pookie and Ray Ray idea comes from, the Pookie and Ray Ray, unfortunately, is majority of the guys. When you even look at
that
shows,
means the bad boy would get the girl first.
So unfortunately, that means majority of our men are getting the girl first. If their majority are the bad boys, that's the whole point. Majority of the men are still getting the girl. Then
no, the point is, so all of this was brought up because we're talking about chivalry, right? Bad boys don't like chivalry. Nice guys do.
That's not true.
So
either.
If the majority of the Pookies and the Ray Rays are getting the girls, that means that the chivalry is dead. Even from a woman's standpoint, your standards have changed.
That's not true though, because the Pookies and Ray Rays still know how to open a door. The Pookies and Ray Rays still know how to go ahead and meet the father and all that kind of stuff. So again, that's why I said for clarification of the idea of the bad boy, because you can have the bad boy with a heart of gold who is still chivalrous. You can have the hood guy who is still a gentleman at heart when it comes down to the woman he's with. So again, that's conflating and deflecting because we're using this idea of a person to try to make it fit all people, and you can't do that.
Yeah, I still stand behind what I said. I don't feel like you're really addressing directly what I'm asking.
I mean, like I said, if you're wanting me to say that the bad boy, and again, that is still such a broad situation. So you can't necessarily say that the bad boy, just because he's doing bad boy stuff in this field, is a bad boy in this field.
Okay, so
the bad boy can still be a good father.
Who would women rather go to, the Chris Brown or the Kirk Franklin?
Kirk Franklin's a married man, so that's still not. No, Chris Brown is not.
You're stating it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That already kills the argument because Kirk Franklin is married.
If he was single,
Chris Brown is not. And actually, Kirk Franklin was a baby daddy before anything. So again, Kirk Franklin wasn't always a nice guy.
Who would women? Okay, we're talking about the Kirk Franklin in which I'm presenting him as, which is the church man, or the Chris Brown.
So again, the fact that Kirk Franklin is married and Chris Brown is not already kills that argument.
All right, I'm done. I'm not gonna.
So I do have questions for you, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do you believe that women actually reject chivalry when it happens to them?
Yes.
So a woman is telling a man not to open the door for her, collectively.
No, I said a man will open the door and she won't say thank you, or a man will give you flowers, nigga, just flowers. Where's my watch? Where's my trip? I deserve more than this. It's the negative. It's never being thankful for any gestures that a man will do.
So again, the issue with conflating the fact that we are trying to put all women in a box is unfair because, again, I said earlier, all women are not a monolith. So you do still have women that say thank you. That's why you still have men that do perform chivalrous acts.
So are we talking about majorities or what exists in the world?
Because again, the original argument is that women killed chivalry. And that is why I'm arguing that if something is completely killed and dead, then there's no coming back from it. So you can't say women killed chivalry.
Women have lessened chivalry, the behaviors
But
of
again,
men.
how are we going to change the argument? The argument topic is strictly has women killed it. And I just killed that argument by saying, no, women can't kill that. Again, if it's also men's choices and men are still choosing to be chivalrous.
Well, it's not at the magnitude of what it should be. Nowhere, if I had to put it on a scale, it's only 20% of chivalry still existing as a whole, if you ask me, if I have to scale it. So that would mean that it's almost an extinct action and almost killed.
So the beautiful thing about the arguments that we are making is that it still goes back to society, right? So unfortunately, the same way that I argued earlier, unfortunately, government, society is what killed the nuclear family, especially in the Black community. Society is also what killed the idea of chivalry because of the societal changes that were allowed. So it's not necessarily women. Because again, unless women are...
Who are government making? Who are the government making these decisions for?
So again, unless women are the ones in control.
Is it man or woman? You have this. It's kind of hard, like man or woman, and then you can extend what you're trying to say, but like answer directly.
So with that being said, it will be the men because the men are still making the choices. So obviously, these men are seeing the benefit of doing this for the women. Point blank.
What's the benefit? What's the benefit?
If you want to say money, if you want to say the chaos, all of this is still at the benefit because, again, it's the men who are at the front hold of all this. Society is still based off of men and the idea of what men are choosing to do. Point blank, period. Men were the ones who put feminist laws into power.
Yeah, men put feminist laws into power. Who does feminism benefit?
Women, because first wave feminism was saying
but
that
you're proving my point earlier when I said, because you tried to say the judges and the government, it's men doing it, but I said they're doing it in favor of women.
Because
if men had it their way, most of these laws wouldn't even exist.
That's not true, because it still comes out in favor of them. You know what the benefit of women voting was?
What?
The men in office who still get the most votes. Because guess what? Even the orange man that we have in office now got into office because a majority women votes. We have not had a female president.
He got into office because we tried to have a female president who wanted Megan Thee Stallion twerking at inauguration, and the prior first lady coming up there saying, even if you have to go against your husband, we know what we're supposed to do as women. And so everybody heard that, and any traditional woman that heard that voted for what you call the orange man. So actually that was Little Miss Female President that fucked that up.
So would you say that majority of the voters who were women would be traditional women, correct?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
no. I'm asking.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I can't know that for a fact. I haven't looked at the studies. But if we're just speaking off what we saw happen, because the women were trying to push for the woman until there was so many things that she kept coming out doing that gave everybody no choice but to pick the other side because of what she was trying to present.
So for anyone who's wondering, I don't know if we could say the president's name, which is why I'm saying the orange man. I don't want to say anything that will get.
Yes, you can. It's not easy to friendly. Okay. It's totally fine.
Okay. So with Trump being in office, Trump did have an outrageous, even with his first presidency, he did have an outrageous number of women who voted for him. With that being said, would you say that majority of those women were traditional women?
No, I would say that majority of people at that time with his first presidency wanted a change from the party that was in office and all of the decisions that they were making. It didn't feel that they were pushing forth America, so we voted to try something else.
I'm asking about the women because you said that they were traditional women. You said that earlier.
You're talking about two different campaigns, though. You can't bring up the prior campaign.
I'm asking either one, both. Women majority still voted for him.
And that's the prior ones? But yeah, but that's why I'm answering you. They voted for Trump based off the first presidency because the other side was making decisions that America wasn't agreeing with. So we went with him to see what he would do.
So I don't want to derail this too much. The whole point of men benefiting from women voting was the fact that women were still going to vote for these men. Because again, if we were really putting into play for all this to really just still be based off of feminists, we would have had a woman or a feminine president at this point. We have not.
If we could find one that was worth voting for, we would have one. If Michelle Obama probably would have ran, there would have been a completely different outcome. But that's only because of the way she carried herself under the covering of a man. But go ahead.
So Michelle Obama was carrying herself the way she's been carrying herself even before her and Barack got together. She is a lawyer. She has a very successful and very, very calm and suited, and even to the idea of being traditional whole persona, right? Because we don't know these people personally. But with that being said,
in order to be a traditional woman, that means you need a husband, even in leadership. So that's what I'm saying. You're trying to make it sound like she's some independent thing, like the way she carried herself. Yes, she got married to Obama, but that would also make her traditional enough to know that she is not the head.
So Hillary has a husband.
Okay.
Ivanka has a husband.
Okay.
What is Trump's wife? What is her name? Trump's wife's name.
You just said it, right?
No, I thought Ivanka was his daughter.
Melania.
Melania is his wife. All these men have wives. Would you say that all those women are as traditional as Michelle Obama?
If you're comparing it against the other wives, I would have to say Michelle would be more or less traditional, because Trump's wife, she just stands by him, doesn't speak. She just dresses to impress and stands behind whatever decision her husband makes.
Melania speaks because we don't have a first lady that hasn't. So again,
no, I'm saying as far as like with Obama and Michelle, both of them were more out advocating for the things that they believed in. Trump's wife more so just likes to be more of the president's wife.
Would she still be traditional? Not just based off her not speaking. Would she be a traditional woman?
Who?
Melania Trump. From
what I've seen, yeah.
So being as close to a corn star will make her being traditional. She's the head of what we would deem as a 304 compared to a Michelle Obama.
So
Clinton.
Yeah, her past would make what you're saying a fact. I wasn't thinking that hard into it. I'm thinking how she is as his wife, as the president. So yeah, I can say that, yeah.
So that's the only reason why I'm saying, because again, the idea of how women are killing chivalry, but you have a president who rather, instead of looking, because you guys want to make the argument about how women will go to the bad boy. So can we not make the same argument of how men will go to the bad girl? People go to what's exciting.
Men and women are not equal though. So that's not even something that I would argue, because men and women are not equal.
Of course, men and women are not equal, because we can elect a convicted criminal to be president over the woman just people are mad at that had Megan Thee Stallion twerking, who has no criminal background. So of course we know men and women are equal. That's not the argument.
Who doesn't have a criminal background?
Kamala Harris.
Okay, she might not have a criminal background, but she locked up more than enough black men in the 90s for marijuana charges.
Based off of who's ruling? Hers?
Yeah.
Or another man's?
No, I'm talking about her when she was in courts or whatever you call it. I can't think of the name right now. But she locked up more black men in the 90s, I think, than any other woman at that time. So just because she wasn't swinging on a pole doesn't mean that her history is unscathed as far as how
based off of whose law? A woman's law or a man's law?
It doesn't matter.
It very much matters.
For me, that doesn't matter. You're trying to compare. So Melania was a stripper off of whose law?
That's not the argument. The argument is the fact that the argument is that a convicted criminal, because he's a man, was able to become president, versus a woman who was doing her job under another man, mind you. She was doing her job, which is actually deemed traditional, even though you want to say it's her job and not her husband. She was under a man following protocol, and she followed said protocol. And yes, she became successful in her job because of that. But her only crime.
What was Trump's charges for? What was he convicted for? Wasn't it some sort of financial thing?
Does that still make him less of a criminal?
Yeah. If he was convicted for financials, right?
Mm-hmm. So again,
yes, can we really keep trying to, because you keep throwing it out multiple times and I wasn't going to address it, but you keep saying it like as if he murdered somebody.
Does that matter when a crime is a crime, especially
yes,
if you're saying, hold on, because if you're saying you're mad at Kamala for arresting possibly innocent men.
I was just saying why she didn't get voted for as the president.
Let me rephrase. Not being mad. But if we're saying that Kamala's crime, even though it's not a real crime, because she was just following the protocol that other men had allowed her to do and told her to do, is the fact that she arrested possibly innocent men.
Kamala?
Mm-hmm. Versus the actual criminal.
But those men that she locked up was to further her career so that she can get to the point of wanting to be the president. When has Trump's wife tried to do anything, trying to be in front or a president of anything? Like, it doesn't even make sense to be trying to argue Trump's wife against the woman that was trying to be president.
That's why I wasn't arguing. I brought up Melania to the other first ladies. Right
Can
now,
I ask a question real quick, because y'all deviating a little bit from the topic, right? A quick question. Melania type, Michelle Obama type, do both of these women deserve chivalry? Okay, we have the archetype of both of these women. Do both of these women deserve chivalry from a man?
Yes.
First RogueC and then Melanin, please.
Yes, based off what Melanin was arguing about Michelle Obama being more of a traditional woman, absolutely. Melania, not so much, because Melania would be the 304 that most men say don't deserve chivalry.
Melanin?
I would say they both deserve chivalry, regardless of Melania's past. The way she carries herself, if her past wasn't known about, the way she presents herself would still be deserving of chivalry. The only reason why you keep bringing up her past is because you know about it.
RogueC, why do you disagree?
I'm sorry?
And let's go for it. Why do you disagree? And then we go from there, 5 minutes. Don't stray away too much from the chivalry part. Okay,
we're good. We're back. Yeah, we're back. So because of the way that we're saying a woman deserves chivalry, Melania would be deemed the woman that most men would say wouldn't deserve chivalry, because she would still be the unruly woman. She would be the woman that doesn't say thank you because she thinks she's better than a man because she's so beautiful. And again, it's a matter of, if we make this argument, if you don't know a woman's past, do all women deserve chivalry? Because then at that case, you could say yes.
I don't remember the discussion about chivalry ever being based on if they're a 304 or not. My point of why women was killing chivalry is because you no longer say thank you or give a smile or feminine gestures towards men's acts of chivalry. Based off how Melania, whatever the wife name is, the way she carries herself is deserving of chivalry, and so would Obama, regardless of their past or what you know about them, the way they present themselves. Because technically speaking, a man doesn't know anything about any of us. We won't even, majority of us won't even say our body count. So that's dumb. I'm talking about how a man doesn't act right in these moments in public, and the way that women keep responding to them is making it where they're like, well, why would I keep doing this for her? They're all acting the same.
So the woman who has a 304 pass would actually act better than the woman who doesn't have a 304 pass?
Who's arguing that?
Because I'm arguing the type of woman that you're arguing is actually the archetype of Melania more than the actual archetype of Michelle Obama, which is why my original argument is
based off. They're both the president's wife, though. So I don't understand why they're both a president's wife.
Because originally, once upon a time, the president that we have now, based off of his past, would not even be allowed to be presidential. So we are even going back to my original point of how societal rules changing has made it where chivalry has changed. So the fact that you are saying that it is okay, because again, a Melania Trump back in the day would not be seen as a higher up or a woman who is deserving of the first lady title. That's the reason why we had a Jackie O versus Marilyn Monroe. Because if Kennedy actually married Melanin, that would have been all hell breaking loose.
Marilyn
versus a Jackie O.
You said Melanin.
Marilyn. Sorry, I meant Marilyn. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I really don't know how to keep going back and forth on this, because I don't see how this is a point going anywhere.
The point that I'm making is the fact that based off of who men would deem chivalry belongs to, Melania Trump would not be one. based off her past, whether you know it or not. Because again, Melania's past, even the quote unquote feminine things that we would deem, when Trump puts his hands on his wife, there have been many a times where this woman doesn't even smile. This woman usually slaps away or pulls away from her husband. Versus when we see Michelle
Kamala
and Barack,
never shows up. Kamala never shows up with her husband at any of the presidential things. So
we're
why
conflating.
would a woman that's claiming to be a wife and never with her husband be deserving of chivalry?
We're conflating because we're speaking about first ladies right now, which is why we're comparing Michelle to Melania.
So we're comparing them because of what?
Because we're speaking about first ladies. We're not talking about presidential elects because you already killed that argument by saying that men and women are not equal. So I give that to you. So right now we're comparing the first ladies and their roles in first ladies. Michelle was deemed more of an appropriate first lady than Melania Trump will ever be.
That's subject to opinion though, because if we're talking about men that just like their wives to look nice and follow my lead, that would be more of Trump's wife, especially with what Michelle did during Kamala's campaign. She literally came out and said, you have to go against your husband to do so.
But you even said before that point, you also said that Michelle was actually more traditional because she was under Barack's lead.
I said she would be better for we're talking, first of all, we're talking about three different women, but you're trying to make it fit wherever you're trying to go.
Fatty strictly said,
we were comparing.
I'm staying on topic. Fatty said
and Michelle Obama. We weren't talking about Trump's wife. We weren't talking about Trump's wife until you brought her in comparing a whole to who locked up black men in the 90s running for campaigns.
I'm going based off of Fatty's question, which originally was Melania versus Michelle. That's all I'm going based on.
Which one is more deserving of chivalry, right?
Yes.
Okay, and you're saying it would be Michelle because
based off of the societal idea and what men are also saying that they deem the better wife. Because again, men are saying that a 304 does not make a good wife. So just by that fact alone.
But you're digging way off into the past. What Michelle did more recent for Kamala's campaign, men did not agree with her on a global scale, standing up there saying, even if you got to go against your husband, we know who to vote for. Vote for
But
Kamala.
She still did that under her husband's backing because Obama did back that. So she still went under her husband's leadership.
He wasn't there at that when she
when he did his own rallies for Kamala.
Yeah, but that's him just standing behind his wife. And if you want to go there, it's already been notated that publicly they were already saying that it seemed like they weren't showing up to things together. But that's all to me, that's all semantics. Mm-hmm. What Michelle Obama did recently in this most recent campaign, men were not feeling it. That she said to go against the nuclear family structure and to vote for a woman. So you're bringing up Melania's past way before she was ever a presidential anything compared to what Michelle just did during a presidential campaign. Like, what are we?
Because that is how society does actually move based off a woman's past. Point blank, period. The reason why.
Okay.
Yes, even these men that will be on YouTube will go based off a woman's past. Because that is the normal reflection of a woman in these men's head. A lot of times we do believe that people do not change and that your character is still going to reflect what your character is. That is why a lot of these men will say a 304 does not deserve. You even have men now debating the fact that in the past, a woman who was a corn star who is now trying to be a preacher. And a lot of men are going against that because of her past, correct?
Yes, I did see that clip.
So that is why if we can either say that, yes, a woman's past doesn't matter because she wants to be better now, then we can go ahead and have that argument. But at the end of the day, chivalry is deemed on the woman. Men who deem that a woman deserves chivalry and what woman type deserves the chivalry is when men actually choose to be chivalrous. That's all I'm arguing.
Okay, so real quick for Trump's wife, wasn't she a supermodel? Or is it verified that she's some sort of porn star?
Yes.
So she posed for a Playboy and allegedly she was an escort, but we can prove that. We can prove that she was at least a playmate, Mm-hmm. And final thoughts on this situation so we can go to the next segment, okay?
Go ahead. Melanin, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I feel that women killed chivalry. I don't feel that it was proven that they didn't. or killing it. Let me correct myself because it's not completely dead yet, but it's on its way to being extinct.
So I'm arguing that chivalry didn't die because women changed it. It declined because of how society changes. And men cannot outsource their principles because of that.
Ladies, before we go to the super chats, check your cash apps, please, to see if people are taking care of y'all. I would appreciate it. If not, we're going to press it even more. And if y'all can say thanks to the people that send the cash apps, that will be nice. If y'all don't have it, I'll keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it.
No, unfortunately, Lover Gang is not loving your lover girl right now. So
yep, none for me as well, but thanks for tuning in regardless.
Friends, there's 430 people watching right now. Please support the ladies, okay? This is a disgrace. Y'all are freeloading. Y'all are here watching shit for free while you're eating your Cheetos and your Tostitos and nobody gets a lunch, okay? Let's at least try to get a lunch for the ladies. Let's at least try to get a lunch for the ladies. Cash App, RogueC19, very interesting combination. RogueC19, C19, good memories. And Melanin Legacy 88, okay? Let's make sure that they get a little bit of a lunch. Please support the show. We're going to make sure that by the end of the show, they get a lunch, okay?
Oh, and just
mention that the 19... Go ahead.
Just real quick for Jazz and SH, I hope y'all come up here when it's open floor because y'all talking about.
Oh shit!
You gotta get him back. You better go down there and get him back.
This challenge.
Shout out to the ladies.
We have 1 hour. We have 1 hour, okay, until we open the panels. The challenge was made. I don't think people are going to pull up, but we're going to make sure that.
Can I just argue?
Yes, you were talking about the C19. What happened with that? RogueC?
I was born on the 19th day, and that is why it is 19.
Okay, so I was born on the 19th day too, July 19th.
I'm January 19th. You actually have my half birthday.
Yeah, look at you.
So happy early
10 years
birthday
older than you, so I am in charge. Friends, let's read the super chat real quick, and we go to the last segment. This one is going to be interesting. Woman want to be king. I want to hear from the ladies, but let's read the super chat real quick.
Buckle up, everyone. It's time for some super chats.
So we have Willie. He says, yeah, ChatGPT wrote that. If you don't believe me, replay what she said and play it to ChatGPT and ask it, did you write this? Melanin wins by DQ. Thank you very much, Willie. Once again, you can find Lover Girl RogueC. She's pinned at the title, pinned description. Please go ahead and subscribe to her. The same thing with Melanin. Make sure that you subscribe to Melanin Legacy, okay? They're giving us a good show, so make sure you follow them before the show ends. Still G, she released that because the social contract has been broken.
That still sounds
Thank you very much. Another one, TLG says, I don't know why some woman thinks showing gratitude and appreciation is being lesser than shaking my head. We have Dr. Eugene Steele in the building. Says, is she really dead or is she really taking on a new face? We have Willie back again. It says, she really declined when the average woman became more adversarial towards men than interest in traditional partnership and mutual respect. Thank you, Willie. TLG back again. And he says, I knew this was going to be one of them. Too smart. Thank you very much, TLG. We have Mamir thoughts. When a woman calls a guy nice but refuses to date him, she calling him a... Thank you very much. Once again, the cash apps are rolling at the bottom. Make sure that the ladies get something nice to eat. I'll truly appreciate that.
I just want a popsicle. My AC broke today, y'all. I just need a popsicle.
Oh, shit. No popsicle. Your thoughts? RogueC, he remains intellectually dishonest, and loves to weaponize semantics. God help her. Mr. Ilkan Ali with a $10 ball in the building. If RogueC saw a real life question, she'd call the cops on it and claim the question was making her give it the answer. Thank you very much, Mr. Ilkan Ali. We have Mr. All the Way 89. This is for my YouTube wifey. Melanin. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. My boy Carl Anderson, one of the untouchable executives, says the Western world has changed a lot, and trying to return to the old ways will be a real challenge. The push to make America great again has brought back the so-called good old we have Mr. E.T. 1971. He says, why does she keep saying men's laws when women can vote and have the same rights as men? Women vote more than men. Do so you would be just as responsible for the laws as men. I'm going to save this because this actually is $10 and up and has a question there. I'm going to save this for the Q&A. Zyrax Melania won't even live in the White House during Trump first. My boy Boogie is in the building saying, I see Melanin, I have to trick Fatty. Hope you're doing good, sir. We have, let me tell you why that's bullshit. I haven't heard somebody this stupid in a while. I need a good laugh. Thanks, lover girl.
Got untouchable empire, baby.
And finally, not but not least, we have Boogie's reaction. Rogue, did you know feminists vote for men because they don't like other women leading them? So once again, friends, please support our ladies Cash App. We have more 30 minutes, and then we go to the Q&A, and we open the panel for the challenges, Jazz and S Age Word Challenge. RogueC, do you see anybody in the chat that you want to pull up, or you're going to let them decide?
I was actually about to ask. I did actually get a couple of Cash Apps, but I'm okay with anybody. Especially when people don't like prep work, regardless of anything. But
Oh damn, she calling you out, Willie.
Finish him.
Oh shit!
But can I also say thank you real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. All right, so shout out to Jeremy. Thank you so much, Jeremy. He said good show. And shout out to Lady Zyrax. Thank you so much, Lady Zyrax. She's also showing support. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you very much, Untouchables. I appreciate both of y'all. Melanin, do you get anything before we move? Because Mr. All the Way said I sent something to Melanin.
Thank you. I don't want to stop what we're doing. I get there. Sorry. Mr. All the Way. Mel, stay fitted. Alan, Sarah, Lamont, Charles, Jeremy, and Tommy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, friend, for supporting the ladies. We need a couple more Cash Apps to them because it's dinner and lunch, okay? So even if you don't agree with them politically or whatever, make sure that you support them because they're giving us an awesome show. We're going to go to the last topic.
It's time to do.
So the last topic, women want to be king. Melanin, I give you the floor on this one. Women want to be king. Why do you think women want to be king? And then afterwards, RogueC. Next, we have 27 minutes until the Q&A. $10 and up, and we're going to ask questions to the ladies. In 57 minutes, we'll open the panel so y'all can challenge them. Go ahead, Melanin, you got the mic.
So one of the reasons why I think women want to be king is because of the argument for equal rights, equal labor to what men do, sometimes even more pay, but they don't want any of the real responsibilities of being a man, which is, protecting, being the provider, understanding that you can't always get your way, having the ability to be emotionally regulated. So all of those are things that men have to do that women don't want to do, other than what benefits them. And that's why I think they want to be king.
Okay. So I want to just argue the fact that wanting influence isn't the same as actually wanting to be in charge and having the full-blown direction of replacing men. It is most of the time that women are looking for competency. They are looking for competent leadership. They are looking for the idea of protection, safety, provision, and all these things. And unfortunately, we do have a situation where a lot of men are not in these roles properly, because we do have an issue of mistaking just because you are a man automatically makes you a leader. So a lot of times women are filling in those gaps because we are adaptable to do so.
So you're saying that women want to be king because men aren't stepping up to the plate?
No, I'm arguing that women don't want to be king. But because we do have
given no choice, is what you're saying.
Pretty much filling into the space that absence is leaving. Yes.
Okay. So couldn't it be argued that the woman and her selection could be wrong? Who she's picking to lead her could be incorrect?
I mean, you can say that, but if women's only access is the access to sex, and then it is the men who are actually having the access to marriage, women are going with what is available to them. The same way, if you go to a grocery store and you are looking at certain groceries and they only have this brand in stock, are you going to not get that brand if it's something that you direly need? And if we're going to argue that women direly need men, you're going to go with what's in stock.
So when you first started talking, did you say that women are giving up sex because men control marriage?
No, I was saying the fact that if we're looking at the two things that people, or what we're deeming, especially in these social media spaces, deem that the access belongs to somebody, it is the fact that the relationships, marriage, is what men actually have access to. And if women have access
and women get to.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, but the way that you get access to marriage is through not having random sex. In most
I'm not disagreeing with that. That's not my argument. I'm not disagreeing we do that. What I'm arguing is the fact that if men are the ones that have the ability to say, yes or no, woman, I'm going to marry you. Yes or no, woman, you are going to be deemed worthy of a relationship, based off what we are talking on YouTube talking points, and even how we kind of see how society moves with men and women dynamics, that at the end of the day, with women having the choices that we're saying that they have, not a lot of these leaders, not a lot of these men are leaders. So leaders are not in stock like that. So women are filling in the gaps. That doesn't mean they want to.
But regardless of I guess how you're trying to get there, you're still insinuating that woman wants to be king.
No.
How does she have no other choice?
Because a want versus a necessity are not the same thing. That's why even earlier when we were arguing. I'm sorry?
What's the want and the necessity?
The want being, if I don't want to be king, I would rather this man be king. That is the want. Now, if these men are not collectively being able to be king and be in leadership, now the necessity is, if I still need the king-like ability or the king-like duties performed, I have to do it. That's
survival. That's not king. You can never be a king. That's the point. Right.
So then that kills your argument. A woman can't be king. So women can't want to be king.
No, but my point of saying women want to be king is because they don't know that they're not supposed to be. It's not because I don't think that they in their mind think that they're doing some king shit. They think that they are, but I'm saying it's only selective, which is why you can't be king, because you don't want to take all the backlash, the negatives with the positive of what a real king does. You just want the nice things, the things that benefit you, and I guess make you feel more secure in your independence. That's why they want to be king. They don't want to be king for the right reasons. They're not pushing for equality on all levels. They just want to be able to say that I'm above a man.
Collectively, that's not the case, because if that's the case, marriage would be a dead situation, the same way we were trying to say that chivalry was dead. If that was the case,
the divorce rate is over 50%, and it's majority of women filing.
So again, the divorce rate is usually tiptoeing at 50, maybe 50 point something percent.
Who's most of the people filing for divorce?
I will agree that it is majority of women, but again, women are the ones who petition. That doesn't mean that men have not already checked out. That does not mean that men have already given up their duties. Most reasonings are because of financial situations and infidelity. So if the man is not performing in his leadership role financially, because you even said earlier that the man is supposed to be the provider, correct?
Yes.
So if he is not performing financially in other ways of providing, then yes, a woman should actually be able to leave that situation if her and her children are in a precarious situation.
Okay,
when
but
it comes down to infidelity,
the reasons for filing for divorce is in finance. Usually it's what, unreconcilable differences?
Because in most cases, now that we have no fault divorces, you can actually just put that on the overall umbrella. But the overall umbrella of why most people actually do divorce, it is because of three things: lack of sex, and that's usually at the bottom. You also have financial issues. Again, are you turned on by, right? Yeah, but are you turned on by a man who's not doing his job as a man?
No, but the point is, men are getting sex because you said most of the divorces are happening due to infidelity. Infidelity would be occurring based off of the lack of sex in the home, and women being wives and thinking that even when I don't want to give you what you should have sexually, that you're supposed to wait on me, when a man doesn't function that way. So you put him in a situation kind of where he has no choice, and then you file for divorce. And
so I wasn't trying to keep it on lack of sex. I wasn't going in any particular order, because even if that's the case, then you're explaining why the men would actually file for divorce, which you already said is not the majority.
They don't file for divorce though. They just go and get their rocks off and come back
home. That's a fallacy.
But she files. Hold on. Women are filing for divorce for the things that you named.
That is a fallacy. Men do file for divorce.
Who files more?
But that's the fallacy. You said men don't file for divorce. So the
fallacy, I said the majority. I said over 50%. I said over 50% women are. I said, who's the one filing for majority of the divorce?
Right, and I was coming back to it, but you have to let me substantiate the argument. So I'm coming back to it. So yes, the fallacy was when you said that men don't file for divorce. Men do file for divorce. It's just not the majority. And I gave that to you. I agree with that. The issue is I was not going in any particular order. The top three reasons for why divorces happen are usual financial. They are also usually going to be based under the idea of infidelity. And in a lot of cases for the men who file, it is lack of sex. Or like you were saying earlier, irreconcilable differences. So with that being said.
So who's the one that's majority filing for divorce?
We already said women. That's not the argument.
And so what is the majority of the reason that these women are filing for divorce? What are they picking?
The umbrella term of
so you're trying to pinpoint like finances, infidelity, whatever. But the point is that most of them are filing for divorce and calling it unreconcilable differences.
Because that is an umbrella term, yes.
It doesn't matter, but they have the option to pick infidelity or finance, don't they?
They do not. They do not.
Oh, okay. Then I stand corrected.
So again, the umbrella term is
mute your phones because you're getting notifications.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's my computer.
It's fine. No problem. Just
hold on.
Cha-ching.
Sorry. Okay.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Go ahead.
Sorry. We have a lot of family chats. I do apologize. Sorry, Melanin, go ahead. I kind of lost where I got off where I was going. I'm sorry.
You corrected me on them not being able to select infidelity or financial anymore in divorce.
Because of the most situations of no fault divorce. So most cases when you are divorcing, they don't really even care about the reason.
Is there any way that we can verify that you can no longer select infidelity or financial as one of the options in divorce?
Fatty, do you want to go back?
I can verify. Keep going and I'll verify it for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So while Betty's also doing that, you did also say earlier that most of the time you're not going to get turned on if a man is not doing his masculine duties, which I do agree that most women are still desiring men to do those things. They want, like I said, all the things that come with having a man in the household. But if you do have a man who is not in the position to be a leader, it is not the fact that a woman wants to be king. She could honestly love that man for the fact that we do know that even if you want to say it's 48% or whatever percent of women that are still staying married, they could even love that man, but that does not make him equipped to be a leader. So she now has to step into that position of doing such. So that is why I'm substantiating the argument that doesn't mean women want to be king. It's just that we know how to maneuver and fill in the gaps.
Well, that's just, to me, that's just being an adult. That's just being a single individual. You just have to take care of yourself. But even still, that doesn't give you the right to think that now you're king. I guess is what I'm trying to display. Like, women think because, oh, I have to take care of myself, now I'm a man, I'm doing the same thing that you're doing. And that's not it whatsoever. Also, just to pivot a little bit, another reason why I feel like women want to be king or pretend like there's some sort of king in the workplace, you don't hear like any little quotes of like support for men, like how you would hear a girl boss. Do you have an equivalent for a man that they use to try to pick him up?
Say that one more
Like,
time.
you know how in the workplace they use girl boss.
A boss. Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is those extra,
You would call a man a boss. Men will dap each other up. Hey, boss. Women, yeah, you're a boss.
No, but I'm saying putting the emphasis on the girl boss per se.
I think the emphasis is the fact that she's a girl, and if a woman is doing a good job, instead of saying "at a boy," it's "at a girl." I don't think there's any extra emphasis on it if a woman is just saying, or if people are saying you're a boss.
You don't think that that's something that they implement to make women feel more empowered equally as a man? Because I don't see why it needs to be a girl boss. Why can't it just be a boss and a boss?
Because women aren't equal to men. That's already an argument that you substantiated. So if we want to go ahead the same way that I'm not going to say a human and a human, I'm going to identify you as a woman or a man, female or male.
Okay, so you're saying that they will be using girl boss to make sure that the woman knows that she's not equal to a man.
It's to recognize that this is a woman. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So everybody could just be a boss. If it's just strictly based off your accomplishments, everybody's a boss. There's no need for it to be a girl boss unless you're saying going off of men and women are not equal. So you say girl boss to make sure that she knows that she's not above a man.
It's not about saying that she's not above a man. It's the fact that there is a redundancy if you say boy boss or man boss, because in most case scenarios, we are programmed to already understand that a lot of these terms are strictly masculine already. Even nowadays, we still have people who will still say a doctor, and they'll still make that still a masculine term and still automatically think of a man.
So wouldn't that mean that the women, wouldn't that mean that women are trying to be more masculine? You just said that most of these terms are male based. So why would women want to be called any of them if they're not trying to be like men?
Because at the end of the day, these are just professions. So once upon a time where women could not be doctors, the same way that nowadays you can have a man be a nurse, but that was still deemed back in the day because that was the position that most women had. So when you hear nurse, most people still automatically think female, even if a man can still be a nurse, which is why you will say a male nurse or a man nurse. It is not to really just substantiate anything else besides the fact that, okay, we're going to say at a girl, shout out to the girl boss because you are a boss, but that is normally deemed a masculine role. It is not to say that you can't do it. It's just now that people are so programmed to believing that that is what that means. We're just trying to showcase the fact that, no, we're actually talking about her. That's all it is.
Yeah, but why do we need to, if it was just strictly about focusing on the job that you're doing, then why does it matter whether you're a man or a woman? Like, why do we need to do special things to make her feel seen and noticed?
Okay. So when you think about certain jobs, a librarian, where does your mind usually take you to? When you see in your mind and you picture a librarian, what are you usually seeing?
I guess I would say like an older woman. But there's male librarians, but I guess the concept would be older women.
Exactly. So again, it's not to do anything else besides the fact of just notating that this gender is also now in this role. Because again, society has
why does the gender need the accolades? If it's not about competing and it's just about the function, then why do we have to have specific labels for just women?
That's not a specific label for just women. Like I said, a boss is usually going to be the label for the man, and he will still get an accolade. You can have a mug that says greatest boss. So again, just saying girl boss is just notating that this is a female boss. Saying boss, again, there's a redundancy if I say boy boss, male boss. Your brain already makes a clear note that you're talking about a male. So if I'm saying girl boss, now I can picture the same way I could picture, oh, woman doctor. I have a female doctor. Oh, now my brain can picture the fact that, oh, I'm talking about a female doctor. And people deserve accolades.
I guess we're going round and round. I'm just trying to figure out, because men don't say men boss. Men don't say men CEO and stuff like that. It's just a CEO and a boss. So I'm saying I don't understand why women need the girl boss, the woman empowerment, or like the accolades that I'm a woman and I did what he did. I'm a woman, I'm making just as much as he makes, if not more.
Because in most case scenarios, the achievements of women aren't, I'm sorry, I'm just saying in most case scenarios, one, these achievements were not allowed to us beforehand. And now the fact that they are, we are going to say at a girl, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. That doesn't mean you want to be king. That doesn't mean you want to be equal to a man, but everyone.
Why can't it just be good job? Why does it got to be at a girl or you did great for, like, why do we need that? Why can't it just be good job?
Because women are also just more creative. We're just like the whole black girl magic thing. Nobody was saying that black boys don't have magic. It's just a matter of this is something that we picked up on at a girl, okay, black girl magic. That's
what
just
did black
something
girl
that
magic derive from? Like the term, what was going on to create the black girl magic term?
I mean, I'm not too sure. I know that they came out with black girl rocks. There are certain situations where black girl magic was just a matter of just a saying. Certain things are just sayings.
So what sayings do we have for men?
Black boy joy, if you want one that's equivalent to that.
And that's been broadcast like on internet as much as the black girl rock and woman empowerment and all of that. How broad do we do black boy joy? I haven't seen anything about black boy joy, anything.
But are you asking women to broadcast things for men?
No. Well, yeah, that would be nice if you didn't feel like you were supposed to be center of attention, or you were the head. Why wouldn't you give accolades to a man?
It's not about not giving it, because yes, a lot of women are the ones who actually use the term black boy joy. But anyways, there are men who pick up on that terminology. But most of the time, a lot of men, they just do what they do. They're not really trying to just go ahead and be like, yes, celebrate me. As women, we do like to be celebrated just a little bit more. Birthdays matter a little more to women. Holidays matter a little more to women. So the fact that women are just saying, let me go ahead and just push this accolade towards myself. If men wanted to start coming up with their own stuff, who's stopping them?
No, my point is that most of the accolades that the women are coming up with is to compete with a man. They're not just coming up with these sayings for strictly just women's empowerment. It's usually in competition or trying to show a man that I can do what you do.
I'm sorry. Give me 1 second, Mel.
You're fine.
They're just creating group chats at this point now to annoy me. No, they're not doing that. But again, it's not necessarily, and I think we're kind of, no, okay. I want to make sure that I'm still staying on topic. To say that women are doing this in competition to men is still just insulting, because women are just wanting the acknowledgement for their achievements. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm better than a man. It's just the fact that I achieved something. And that is what women are just doing when it comes down to these terminology. It is not to be like, yeah, Negro, I'm better than, no. You can have women. I'm never going to argue in the fact that there can be people who do this. I'm never going to argue that with you. But the majority of these sayings were just to acknowledge the fact that women are achieving things that we once upon a time weren't able to achieve. Because now we are in a society that is letting women get to these achievements that most times never got to happen. Even when we get a female president, 9 times out of 10, you're still going to have something in front of that, whether it be Madam President or Girl President, if we ever see that day. So we
And
have
so
to
why
acknowledge.
why does a woman want to be president?
Because
this
she
is
might
a
have.
male dominated space. Yes.
Yes, but most of these situations are male dominated. Sorry, I had to silence that. Okay, I'm back. So most of these situations are male dominated based off the fact that society once upon a time was a male dominant society.
So
We
why
didn't
is
have
women
women
trying
in
to
positions.
infiltrate? So why is women trying to infiltrate men's spaces?
Because once upon a time, men were able to fill those spaces. A lot of the women in the workplace situations happened because men were off at war, and guess what? Society had to keep going. That's where we got the, what's her name? The I can do it woman. Is her name Rosie?
We're not talking about in situations where men were unavailable.
But that's the catalyst. That's the whole point. That's the catalyst. When they started showing that, yes, women, because we need you in the workforce because things have to happen. So when they started opening those doors, because not only, like I said earlier, was there a lack of leadership because they were off elsewhere. And God bless anyone who is, who has family members who have been in service and who is in service. God bless you. But there was still someone who had to pick up the slack. That's all the argument is.
Yeah, but that's only because you have no choice, though. That's not a man's fault because they had to go to war. That was them further protecting women, and you just had to do what was needed in their absence. That
right,
doesn't
and
make
I'm not. But once that levee got broken, once the floodgates were open, women were now in the workforce. We couldn't go back. And even now, if we actually looked at women, if we stopped working, there would be such a disadvantage in society at this point because we are so used to the fact that women now work. Women working has also helped with the fact that we now have money to put into our society. Because instead of just trying to tax one man in each household, now you get to tax both. You get more money. Society, again, benefits for the fact that women are now in the position that they are in. Even when you can hear women saying, I don't want to do this anymore. This isn't for me. I want a
spend
soft
the most
life.
money on things that are not lucrative to the children or the nuclear household.
Not true at
Makeup,
Not
nails,
true
hair, weaves. Oh, not true.
True.
What do women heavily invest in? That's
women
important?
are the majority of consumers. So point
Oh,
blank period.
bullshit.
No.
What are women consuming?
So,
What
okay.
are they consuming?
So are
on a
men
positive
buying baby
basis?
clothes?
Huh?
Collectively, are men buying majority of the baby clothes?
Buying the baby clothes? What?
You said women don't buy anything but bullshit. So are men buying baby clothes?
You're gonna go to baby clothes?
Okay. Are men buying food?
She's a mother. She has no choice but to buy baby clothes.
Are
And if
men
she did it
buying
correctly,
food as the majority
she's
of
spending
women?
the husband's money to buy the baby clothes. So what are you
Women
talking
make their
about?
own money. So that's, again, you're still killing the argument because that's
I'm
not
not
true.
killing the argument because it doesn't. They make. So do women make money and then give the money that they made to the husband in the household? Does the check
No,
come
but
in the house?
it still goes back to the household
Does the
majority
check
of the
come in
time.
the house?
Yes. Yes.
In what way?
Whether if they're going 50-50 on bills, whether it's going to the children, whether it's going to the groceries, the household needs, majority of the domestic things that are needed, laundry detergent, cleaning supplies, are still women.
So
Women
you're saying
make
that
up
most
the,
of
hold
these
on
women are
real quick.
living in the
Hold
house.
on real quick. When it comes down to buying things, even majority of male-based things, because women still buy things for their man. Women are the top consumers of everything, which is why you put it, if you look at how a lot of advertisers actually do it, they're going to showcase it more to women because women are the ones who are going to be like, oh, my husband would love that. Oh, my brother would need that. Oh, my son needs that.
Unnecessary spending. That's what I said. I wanted to know, you're naming baby clothes. You said, oh, I think my man will like that. What are they investing in with their money?
We're not talking about investments. We're talking about consumerism.
I was. No, I was.
Because you said women spend their money on bullshit. We are the biggest. Go ahead.
That is the things that you're naming. What's important about the things that you're naming?
The importance of a baby having clothes, the importance of your son and men having clothes. Because again, most fashion magazines that are showcasing men's stuff, men are not reading those magazines. So if I'm looking at a magazine and I'm saying, oh, my husband does need new work shirts, or if I'm getting advertisements on TV, since we're living in 2026, that says, oh, my husband does need a new shaving kit. Even though if you call that bullshit, that is still something that the man can still benefit from. Because most of the times, women are the ones who are buying these because we're the biggest consumers. Men can really go without a lot of stuff and they're not really buying the stuff for themselves because either A, they have a woman doing it or they don't care. But then when a woman starts doing it for them, they're thankful for it.
Yeah, but you do understand that you're bringing up the fact that I said it's a bunch of unnecessary spending, right? He doesn't need a shaving kit if he can go get a regular razor and get the same thing done. How many different work outfits does he need? Like, that's what I'm saying. Only women can't go back out in the same outfit the internet already saw them in. Only
so again,
women
even cleaning supplies to wash the 3 outfits.
Unnecessary items. It's only women.
So again, even the cleaning supplies is mostly women buying it. So if that man only has 3 outfits he loves to work,
so you're saying that women are living in the house with men, and she's spending her money on the cleaning products.
She's spending her money on the household needs because, yes, majority of women who are now working, they are not just working because they get to just now go and spend their money on other things. Like you said earlier, a lot of people are now spending money because they're in survival mode. So a lot of people aren't really even spending money frivolously like that anymore because there's not that much money to have. There's not that much passive income for these family households for women to be buying bullshit.
Friends, I have a question for y'all before we go to the super chats. I want y'all to tell what cash apps y'all have more to thank people, and then we go to the last 30 minutes, okay? And it's actually based on this conversation. RogueC and Melanin, are men spending women's money?
As a majority, no.
Some.
51%. Everything is some, RogueC. Let's do majorities.
No.
Y'all decided that women are the biggest consumers, and it is true. Women are in control of 80% of consumer spending. Are women using men money to buy these things?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make that clear so I can situation in a place where I'm going to have to ask questions about this, okay? Can y'all say thank you to the people that sent cash apps while y'all were debating? And Mel, please breathe while you're saying the names, because you said John, Mateus, and Natasha, and I couldn't understand who they were. But
you want me to say their names?
Yeah, no, yes,
name?
just pause. No. Say the name, but pause it between the people. Just do a say Fatty.
Oh, there's nothing to say for this one.
Nothing new? Okay, thank you very much. What about you, RogueC?
Thank you so much, Lamont. Thank you so much for supporting me. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again, friends. Now I'm going to start to panhandle for my hamburger fund. Okay,
I'm sorry, Fatty. Did you ever find out if
the fact check?
Yes, I did. Okay. I will say it before I read the thingy. Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, friends, the hamburger fund is open. In 30 minutes, we are going to open the panel for you to challenge Melanin and RogueC. Melanin wants to see Jazz and SH. I don't know if they are going to pull up or not, but y'all can pull up too. And for the people that were talking about notes, okay, Willie, you can pull up too. RogueC would love to talk with you. Other than that, friends, the hamburger fund is open. We need $150 on the Cash App and $13 via PayPal SH. We still have 29 minutes, but I see on the back SH said, I want problems.
Hollywood. brother.
30 minutes, we're going to see and make it happen, okay? Once again, friends, thank you very much to the 444 people watching. The show just started, so make sure that you support the untouchable empire.
I would like to buy the burger. I would like to buy a hamburger. 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 The burger.
And thank you so much, Frieza, for getting the ball rolling. We need more 10 members. So the fact check. And friends, until the end of the month, we are going to have a bot on the chat that not only is going to drop the links and all that, is going to do real-time fact checks, okay? So when somebody asks for a fact check, the bot can literally go and search the answer and put it on the chat. So we're going to have a real-time fact check bot. I'm working on it. By the end of the month, it's going to be ready. So both of y'all are right and wrong at the same time, right? So 33 states allow you to choose who is at fault. Okay, you can legally prove 33 states. We can say is that fault because that person committed adultery. Judges, not judges, lawyers usually don't push for it because you need every evidence. You need almost to actually catch the person in the act or have a video evidence, something like that, to prove it. So most of lawyers don't recommend people to do that. On the other 13 states, RogueC is right. You can even say that your partner cheated on you. You only have to put irreconcilable differences, and you can understand if there was cheating or not involved. So both of y'all are partially right. Okay, on the super chat side, and now we're going to start to do the Q&A. So let me put the clock rolling. Okay, we have upside down. It says they want to be king because they want to be in control. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. We have Mr. Willie saying women don't want the responsibility of being king. They just want the king's power, the responsibility of a child while having the privilege of a woman. Thank you very much, Willie. Hope you have fun on the UFC fight. We have the lie detector saying Rogue would be incorrect because in the workplace with these new alternative identities, a boss has to just be a boss unless you know their pronouns. Thank you very much, lie detector. Willie says Melanin just bring up body positivity. And we have Mamir Todd saying, so RogueC is implying that most men are paying bills, therefore they are in sexless marriages. She sounds crazy, shaking her head.
I never implied that.
We have the lie detector saying, nope, because what if the female president wanted to be he, she, them, they, or madam? It further disrupts the average man-woman debate you're having. And we have the infamous tyrannies in the building saying, debate over, RogueC won. She said RogueC already won. Yeah.
Finish him.
And thank you very much, Frieza, for the first 5 untouchable
The
memberships.
untouchable empire, baby.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Friends, we need more 10 memberships. Make sure we get to the goals quick so we can move to the hamburger fund. Okay, Tilgy, Rogue needs to invest in a warehouse tank. No, she doesn't. We are on the same team. No AC gang. No AC gang. Go ahead and follow Melanin Legacy. Once again, the link is at the top. Go follow RogueC. Go follow RogueC. The link is at the top to make sure that you subscribe to them. Okay. Let me read this $10 and up. Let's see if there are questions or not. Why does she keep saying men's laws when women can vote and have the same rights as men? Please, can you answer that, RogueC? Why does she keep saying men's laws when women can vote and have the same right as men?
Because majority of Congress that are coming up with these laws for us to vote on are still majority men. So at the end of the day, men are still agreeing to the fact that these laws can be put in place in the first place.
Follow-up question. Who votes on these men that are in power?
I don't know. Can we look that up? I can look it up real quick.
We can do majority. Who is the majority voting, man or woman?
I would say women, because there are more of us.
There's actually more men than women. 1 million,
Is there?
I think. Yes, on the United States and in Europe right now. And in the world, I think it's it's very small, but it's like 50-0. It's something, but the men are in majority on the United States and on the world, but women are clearly majority voters. Women vote more than men. So thank you very much, E.T. I appreciate it. We have Willie saying, I love rep work. I just don't like cheaters. I mean, in fact, this is not the question. So thank you very much, Willie. I appreciate it. If you have more questions, friends, $10 and up. And we have the lie detector. It says women account for 85% of all consumer purchases. However, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, men spend slightly more on big ticket items, cars, transport, and hobbies. Thank you very much for the fact check, ladies. Are y'all ready for Fatty? Are y'all ready for Fatty? Fatty has a lot of questions for y'all.
Oh, jeez.
Let's go.
Wait, there's more. Hang on to your seat, baby, because this one's a screamer.
The untouchable empire, baby.
So, friends, my questions are for both of y'all, okay? First topic was the gender war, okay? Who women benefit more from the gender war? Question for both of y'all, starting with Melanin. And friends, y'all can do final thoughts before I open the show, okay? Y'all can do final thoughts before I open the link for the people. So we have 25 minutes plus final thoughts. Melanin, if women stop their side of the gender war, would the war be done completely?
Like a majority percentage.
If women stop the gender war completely on their side, they stop doing like the things that you pointed out, the Oprahs, all these things, would the war be over?
As a majority, yes.
If the men stopped to doing their side on the gender war, would the war be over? Would everybody calm down and nobody would complain anymore?
No.
Same question for RogueC. If women stop the gender war on their side completely, will the gender war be over?
No.
So you believe if women cease to complain about men completely, men will still continue to march and do what they've been doing since Kevin Samuels and now?
Yes. For lack of a better term, yes.
That's perfect. That's all I needed to know. Second topic. Feminism was the biggest killer of chivalry. This is a statement. This is a fact or fiction. If you think it's fiction, what was it? Okay, let's start with RogueC. Feminism was the biggest killer of chivalry. We are going to say fact or fiction. And if it's fiction, what was it?
Fiction, only because of first wave feminism. It had nothing to do with actually killing chivalry. Now, if we were to say that later waves of feminism, yes, we can actually say it has aided in the fact of not keeping chivalry alive. But it is fiction because you have to look at the actual nuances of feminism to break it down.
It's a fact for me.
And if you see somebody clowning how I say chivalry, because I can say it is a tongue twister for me, time them out on the chat. Is a fact for you, Melanin, and why?
Could you ask me the question again? Because I was just focusing.
Feminism was the biggest killer of chivalry. Is a fact or fiction? You said that's facts. Feminism actually killed, and now go from there.
So for me, it's a fact because when the feminism wave started, it was broadcasted to no longer be under the protection or cover of a man.
Not sure.
And then they just went back home to their. So from what I know about it, the white women went and recruited the black women, yay, feminism, blah, blah, blah. And then they went back home to their husbands while the black women kept it going.
No.
So second question. Now you start, Mel. Should men go back to being chivalrous? Yes or no? For you and RogueC?
You talking about in current 2026?
Yes.
I'd have to say no.
Back to being no? What about you, RogueC?
RogueC? Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
A follow-up question, Rogue and then Melanin. Do majority of women deserve it?
You're talking about in recent modern times.
Yes, we're talking about 2026. You said they shouldn't go back, and RogueC said they should go back. Follow-up question for RogueC and then Mel. Do majority of women deserve it in 2026?
I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought you wanted Mel to answer.
Majority of women
No.
deserve
I'm
in
asking
2026.
Who did you want to go first?
RogueC.
No.
Melanin.
No.
Follow-up question. If most women don't deserve chivalry, why should they go back? Why should men go back to it? RogueC.
Because again, it's a choice of who you are as a character. It's not necessarily who you deem deserves it. If that is just who you are, if you are just a chivalrous person, you're not going to say I'm chivalrous because so-and-so deems it. You're just going to say I'm chivalrous because I'm chivalrous.
So you think men should do it despite of the quality of the woman in front of them? They should do it for them instead of for the woman?
By all technicality of the idea of chivalry, yes. Because again, you weren't doing it for any reward. You were just doing it because that's who you were. You had a code that you stood by.
What about you, Melanin? Should men go back to being chivalrous in the, like, if I'm a person that is actually a gentleman, should I do it to a woman regardless because that's who I am, or should I do it depending on the quality of the woman?
Okay, so if we're talking about interactions and not just out in public, then I think it should be done based off the quality of the woman. Am I
When do
answering
you
you
think
directly?
it should be done regardless because that's who I am? If you're not talking about outside.
If you're on, like, if you as the man are walking through the door and she's literally about to walk in right behind you, it takes nothing away to keep opening it. But if she's down the hall and you gotta like wait for her to come up to the door, I wouldn't be mad if you didn't hold it.
It sounds like y'all flip-flopped on this one, because during the debate, RogueC was saying that Melania and Michelle Obama was two different type of woman, so they should not deserve the same treatment. Michelle should have a gentleman, and Melania shouldn't because she was a farmer, whatever the fuck she was. And Melanin on the other side was saying that both of them deserve to be treated as such. So I think the question, like, both of y'all kind of a little bit flip-flopping, but it's totally fine. It happens. Okay. Next question. What's the female equivalent of chivalry? Melanin first, and then RogueC. What's the female equivalent of chivalry?
Damn. I guess I would have to say, intimacy without having to ask.
So giving pussy.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What about you, RogueC? Especially for you, RogueC, because you think men should do it for woman. What will be your equivalent of chivalry for the woman?
Melanie, were you done? Because it looked like you. Okay,
she muted herself. Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Being a lady, because even in the times of the actual idea of the knight in shining armor, you were deemed a knight, a woman was deemed a lady. So there was societal rulings of what made a woman a lady, and that is the actual equivalent to being chivalrous for a man.
RogueC, what's the name of our show that y'all going to be here tomorrow?
Shout out to ladies first.
Do ladies give or take?
Women are receivers, so technically they will take more.
So a man being a gentleman is giving something to woman, to a lady. And the equivalent of a man giving something to a lady is a lady receiving something from a man? Is there any situation where the woman gives something? Like chivalry is literally positive discrimination. Is benevolent sexism. You are a woman, so therefore I will treat you better than I will treat a man, right? It's basically discrimination based on gender. Is there any similarity on the other side when you treat a man good just because he's a man and you give instead of taking?
So again, when it comes down to the idea of being a lady, it was still in the proper way of receiving, but it was still in the proper way, like how Melanie was saying, the saying the thank you, the smiling. When you gave that man your handkerchief, that was actually a form of, I'm now yours. I'm being betrothed to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you kindly, white knight. So that is why I said the answer is being a lady. Men and women are not equals. So that's the whole thing. And that's always been my argument. Women have another way of showing our gratitude, our love, our femininity in a way that's never going to match a man, because we're not built to do the same things that you guys do. And that is why I don't disagree with the fact when Mel is saying that kindness, because again, we're just talking about chivalry and the idea of somebody opening the door for you. Yes, you should be a lady and you should correct your behavior. That's why and no one asked the question, just to, clarify something with you, Fatty. No one asked a question about women and the correction of their behaviors. You strictly asked about if men should still continue to be chivalrous. And that's the only reason why I said yes.
Absolutely. I just wanted to know why. This is kind of the follow-up. You push them to do that, and I kind of wanted to do why. Third topic, and still, friends, we have 15 minutes, but as soon as we're done with these questions, you can pull up. So Sage, I saw you on the back. You can pull up, and all the people that want to pull up, the link is in the description and in the chat. I will ask Melanin and RogueC to put the link to on y'all chats, because I don't think I have a range on RogueC, so I can put the link there. Make sure that you put the link there so people can pull up to
Also,
challenge
Fatty,
you, okay?
comment in so I can give you a wrench. Comment.
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let me do 1, 2, 3. Tell me if you see it. If you see it, that
I'm
would
about
be
to go to my
awesome.
chat now. I should be able to
Yes.
get you.
So my question, and this is actually the one that I'm going to give you a little bit more pushback. Okay.
Mhm.
Question for, let's start with Melanin and RogueC. When you choose a man, did you decide that he is your king? Let me repeat again. When you choose a man, did you decide that he is your king? Melanin first, and then let's go to RogueC.
I would have to say I went to my dad for the approval.
Clarify that, because I don't think you're answering the question.
So if I liked him, I didn't do it correctly how I should have from jump, but if I liked him, I would take him to my father for approval.
Let me repeat the question again. When you choose a man, you decided that he is your king. When you chose him, when you said, this is my boyfriend, this is my husband, this is my fiance, this is my person, did you automatically decided that he is your king? Do you agree with this statement or disagree with it?
I agree.
And why?
Because I feel like you're supposed to be led by a man. So if you're picking him as your partner and you're giving him your body, yeah, that's what he would be.
RogueC, same question for you. When you pick a man, did you automatically decide that he is your king?
Yes.
You're going to get in trouble, RogueC. Why?
Because the same reasons as Melanin, I agree. If you are the man that I am picking, and yes, you are the leader of the household, you are the leader of the overall of our situation, then yeah, you're my king.
So why are women complaining about man not leading when they literally chose a man that doesn't lead? Why are you picking a king with no crown?
One, he picked me.
So on the savannah, the lion can pick the gazelle without the gazelle picking the lion. In real life, can the man get the woman without the woman slowing down to get grabbed by the man?
I agree with that too. But again, it's the fact that he advanced me and he came with the idea that, yes, I am going to be your leader. I am going to provide the things that I need to provide to be leadership. And then if he ups and decides to either stop doing so or he was not capable of doing so, at that point, you showed me your representative and you showed me the things that I want to see, knowing that I would choose you based on those things. So again, that's the whole point. Leaders need to understand that if you are a true leader, unfortunately, majority of the blame is also yours to begin with because you chose to be that leader.
Sure. So question for you now, and then Melanin. If a woman is more competent than their man, what's the problem with her being the king? Let me repeat it again. If a woman is more competent than her man, what's the problem with her being the king? RogueC and then Melanin.
Because I do agree with Mel, a woman can't be a king, but yes, a woman can still also have a role in the parts of where the man is lacking. I don't necessarily deem that making her a king, though.
What's the problem with that?
There's no problem with it. If she fills in the gaps better, that's how it's supposed to go. Things you can't do, I will.
So there's no problem with having woman kings.
Again, she's not a king. If anything, she's a queen. But she's not a king. A king is a masculine term.
Why? No, the king means I'm the end all be all. I have the last say. I have the last say. I'm in charge.
No, because queens can do that too. In the monarchies that did have queens where there was no king, yes, she still ruled as such, and she filled in that gap.
Sure.
Queen Elizabeth, because her husband died, filled in that gap.
But when her husband is there, who is the king? Who is in charge?
He is.
So
but
can a
she's
woman?
Still.
Let me clarify this. Are you okay with women being in charge of relationships, especially if they are competent?
If the man is okay with it, yeah.
So you are okay with women leading relationships if they are more competent than their men?
Yeah.
What about you, Melanin?
No, I think she should want to be with someone that either is equal or more competent than her. And then if she finds herself in love with someone that she doesn't feel is competent, then you teach him, or not teach him, but speak towards what would help him be a better version of what you desire.
Is that
so
not
you
her
have a problem with the woman that is more competent than a man? Because you did the should, right? She should pick a man that is more competent than her. But sometimes love doesn't choose. We sometimes fall in love with people that are dumber than us, less competent than us, a little bit more lazy than us. Would you have a problem with the woman that truly loves her man to take charges of the relationship because she's just more competent than him? Would you have a problem with that, Melanie?
Yeah, because I just feel like a man is meant to be in a leadership role in the relationship. So even if you're more competent, you should want to elevate him to where he should be, to where he's leading it.
Okay, thank you very much. I have two more questions. Do women want the responsibilities of being the king? Do women want the responsibilities of being the king? Melanin first, and then RogueC.
In this generation, yes, I think the women got a taste of freedom, and they don't want to go back to being under a man's guidance or rule.
So you think they want the responsibilities that come with being the king?
Oh, like everything it entails?
Absolutely. You have the powers of the king, but you have the responsibilities of the king.
No, I think it's selective. I think they only want to pick out what they enjoy. I don't think women want to be the protectors, the providers. I don't think women want to lay down their life for their partner or their children. I don't.
RogueC, the woman want the responsibilities of being the king?
No.
Why do you say that?
Because even if women are in these roles of things that they need to do for survival, they don't want to. We can literally look at the whole soft girl era movement that is happening. A lot of women are wanting men to take on the masculine role of masculinity. But unfortunately, if we don't have majority of them doing that or signing up for it or even marrying these women, then yeah, they have to take on these roles. But most of these women are still saying, I want to be in my femininity and my soft life.
Last question, and then I have already a stage on the back. If you guys want to start jumping in on the back to challenge the two debaters, did a great job. Thank you very much for carrying the show and for actually leading the charge, ladies, because y'all being very available. Okay, including a stage on the back too. My last question is woman being in charge bad for society? Okay, is woman being in charge bad for society? Is having women as kings bad for society?
Yes, because I would say that women run off of emotions and not logic. And the emotional is more of the default setting. And we need people that know how to make a decision under pressure. And I don't feel like the majority of that is women.
RogueC?
Can you repeat the question one more time, please?
Is woman being in charge bad for society? Is woman being king bad for society?
No.
And why do you say that?
Because at the end of the day, women can actually still go into the call of action if need be, even in situations of when we have our children. If a woman is by herself, we do still know how to not prioritize our emotions And in the times of survival, we do actually know how to act and to make sure that we act accordingly, which is going to help the overall. And you still need balance. So if there is a woman that can bring and provide balance, even with or without men, you still need her. You're muted, Fatty.
Thank you. That's perfect. Ladies, before we close the debate, final thoughts. Melanin went first, so RogueC, final thoughts before we open it to the challengers. Melanin, final thoughts before we open to the challengers. Great job, ladies. Great job.
Awesome job, Mel. So, of course, this was a great debate. It was fun. I do like to make sure that prep work is there. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to the idea of all these topics, my strongest argument was the fact that women are not a monolith, and the fact that in situations where women are to actually gain benefits, we are going to. But the same reasoning of why men would, because at the end of the day, everybody just wants to survive.
Okay. I don't have many final thoughts, RogueC. Great debate. I don't have any problem with any notes or any research. It's just more my style to kind of like go off the brain of what's being presented. But I enjoyed myself. Fatty, as usual, great production. Thank you for all the artwork, all the music, for the Saturday entertainment. It's been a great time.
Thank you very much, ladies. I appreciate the kind words. Like I said, next week, Saturday, I'm going to celebrate my birthday. And after that, I will start. The morning show is up, friends. The Saturday is reserved to Saturday SmackDown. And I'm finally going full-time on YouTube. We are going to have 4 or 5 pre-recorded videos per day. So this is a marathon.
Fatty, what we celebrating?
On Saturday?
What year? What year are you? How old are you turning?
37.
Okay, 37. We're going to turn up.
Yes, I'm a man. Yes, I'm going to the strip club and I'm going to spend your money on that shit. So every money you send me that day is going for my strip club fund. I went to the strip club once. I will go 2 times in honor of my friend Theo. Okay, so friends, let me read these 2 super chats. Phil G, grab 3 traditional women and 3 modern women. No males besides the host ladies. First, I appreciate it. And finally, the lie detector says she will eventually look towards a more confident man. If she cheats, it won't be with another less confident one. She is second. Okay, so friends, open panel starts now. Okay. We need 8 members on the membership goal, and we need $150 on the Cash App goal. So please support the Hamburger Fund. I would truly appreciate the love. Okay, thank you very much, and let's close this debate and open the panel. Bounties are up $50 and up. Okay, friends, to kick somebody off the show. Melanin and RogueC. Sorry, RogueC. It's your fault. RogueC.
Either is fine.
Okay. They are protected. You can kick them out. You can keep them out. There's no all other people, $50 and up. So y'all don't just try to be funny, okay? Let's go ahead. 10 minutes for every challenge. Let's open the panel.
The panel is now open.
The wait is over. The gates are open. All who seek the panel, enter now.
Let's get this party started.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
Oh, shit.
And thank you very much, Mr. Brian Ross. It was the sponsor of yesterday's show. So thank you very much, Brian. I appreciate you. He sent some moolah. So we have $10 on a Cash App. Friends, we need 8 members and $140. Make me proud. I'll read the super chat in a few. So, welcome to the show, Miss SH. Okay, Miss SH, who do you want to challenge?
First, hello everybody. How you doing, Melanin? I got a challenge for you.
So we are going to have SH versus Melanin. RogueC comes down here with me.
Okay.
It's time to do.
So SH, tell me what is our disagreement. We have 10 minutes, but it's conditional, okay, friends? If you are a big content creator, if the back and forth is still fruitful after 10 minutes, and if there's nobody in the back, we are going to keep going with the back and forth. RogueC can join here and there. Don't get cold, RogueC. We're going to go from there. Go ahead, SH.
Do I look cold to you, Patty?
Absolutely not. SH, let's go. What is your disagreement with Melanin Legacy?
Okay, I have two. I'm gonna start with the one that was just recently said. So you guys were talking about that she said that it's a woman's job if she married a man.
Wow, that's crazy, Willie.
Fatty.
I should never open the bounties, friends. That's fucked up.
Yeah, you set her up.
Damn, that's crazy.
This is Sparta!
That's crazy. It's my fault. I was the one that was irresponsible. Friends, any that's crazy. Any soul that wants to bring SH back, she says, I'm not about to listen to a SH question. Dodginess. Next. Woo. There's no next. Damn.
Well,
I haven't done bounties in a while, friends. I forgot. That's crazy. Oh,
didn't think this through.
Hey, yo.
No, it's not that I didn't think
a
this
sniper.
through.
That was crazy.
Yeah, it's because usually people at least let people get their feet wet. I thought Willie was already inside of the arena. Mr. Crisco says Mel was wearing the answer on her shirt. The equivalent to Chivalry is kindness. Thank you very much. And we have the lie detector says the man, woman criticizing were mostly under the leadership of a woman king. It was his mama under her monarch. Friends, we're going to hold these for more 5 minutes. And if nobody saves their sage or come back, we close this show and we go get some popcorn and watch the House of Dragons episode 3. The lie detector. Leadership accepts no excuses at all for failure. So if men are bad leaders and majority of the homes are run by women, there's no excuses for weakness. ASH, if they don't save you, I owe you Happy Meal, at least a Happy Meal.
Come on, fellas. If y'all aren't going to come up, someone let SH come back up.
I know she got dressed and she went and did their makeup and all that. And it was like, I owe you at least a Happy Meal. Okay.
Y'all don't want to see 3 beautiful women up here?
At least a Happy Meal. Okay. All of y'all ugly, by the way.
I mean, I just want, me personally, I just want some honest pushback. They got called out because they're a part of the feminism sisterhood bullshit. What I noticed is somebody could be saying something of straight up logic, and because it doesn't favor women or because they don't like that woman, they have a bunch of shit to say. So that's why I called out. It wasn't just SH, it was Jazz and Terry. Any of y'all could come up here and say something. Because y'all, anytime I speak, y'all run y'all mouth like I'm never saying anything of logic, which actually proves why who y'all be going for, y'all actually make them look bad because you're only doing it for sisterhood shit and not who actually said something of substance. So that was the only reason why y'all got called out, but I don't really care if y'all ain't got nothing to say.
Hey, Cap for Life, we need to know who you are. We usually don't do cam downs. This is a very professional show. We don't do just people jumping in and camping on the panel. So I don't know who you are. Please be on camera, and we go with that. Okay. Ooh-wee. Hey, this is my responsibility, friends. I haven't done bounties I don't do open panels at all. So that was my responsibility.
Fatty, but there's technically speaking, there's nothing to cry about, because if she was someone that anybody wanted to hear say something, they would have paid for it already. So I mean, you turned on bounties. That is what it is. If somebody felt like she really had some pushback or something to say, they'd have brought her back already.
Yeah, but sometimes it's a popularity contest. Sometimes you just have strong backers. See what I'm saying? Like you can be.
50 ball is kind of that's a tough one to beat sometimes. 50 ball.
No, not if they
so. Listen, bills are due. A 50 ball, that's real generous. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah, Willie just feeling good about himself. So, friends, we have 2 more minutes. Once again, I want to say thank you to y'all. If we are not going to continue this show, awesome show, actually short show. I love shows before below 3 hours. It's going to be my happy medium. I'm going to start to do morning shows for y'all. We're going to start to do evening shows in the evening. The Breaking Ground is back. Pre-recorded videos. I will give you the full course, and I'm finally going to go pro to see what me and my untouchables can do. Okay, friends, this was the main goal at the beginning. We never did it because it was nothing to prove, but now we're actually going to test to see where we can push and see what we can achieve and accomplish on the next 6 to 12 months. Okay, let me read these supers. We have the light detector and Jazz Man is weak. No. Can't be doing that. The
damn, RogueC, where are them girl bosses? Shit, you've been protecting them whole stream. Girl bosses ain't nobody. None of these hardworking leaders, king bitches got what? That's crazy.
Apparently, RogueC can't afford a fan. So
yes.
playing.
Seriously, great debate. I think this is the first debate where it didn't get hot and heavy. I enjoyed it. It felt more like a conversation. So thank you.
It's nice. Absolutely. And it's nice when, it's only a certain number, a chef and a couple of sous chefs, not too many stirring the pot. So things don't really get conflated. We get to listen to each other more. So it was a good time. I don't feel like me and Mel have any bad blood. So we can really just listen to what each other, even if we don't disagree, even if we don't agree with each other, we can still have a good conversation. And I think that's really just nice to have for learning purposes as well.
Facts.
Okay, we have somebody called E.T. in the back. Let's see if he gets on camera real quick.
E.T. from home?
Yes, he's on the bicycle too. Okay, I see you, E.T. Look at you on camera.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I talked to you last time.
E.T., do you have smoke for any of the ladies?
Yes, I definitely had some questions for RogueC and everything she was saying, most definitely. Hi, how you doing?
Nice to meet you, E.T.
Go ahead.
Nice to meet you too.
Do your thing, sir. What are the questions you have for her?
All right, so when you were saying...
Damn. Willie got him with $2, man. Hey, Willie, you need to stop working for the feds. What the hell is going on? See, these girl bosses ain't on a motherfucking thing. Go ahead, sir. You froze.
All right, my bad. I'm in the Middle East, so, my Wi-Fi is trash right now, so
totally fine.
Work with me. So what you were saying basically when you were talking about men's laws, when you were arguing you were having a conversation with Melanin, like why do you default to men's laws when women can vote too and they're voting the men in that are making these laws? So if they don't even want women in, isn't that more of a reflection on women than men? Because you kind of default to just oh, well, it's men's laws, but it's women can also vote women in if they wanted to, but they're not.
Not at all. It's more so because even what Mel was saying, and I do agree, if men are the actual leaders, well, I can keep going. Come back, E.T. Phone home.
Easier.
But Okay. But if men are the natural leaders of things, it does make sense for why majority of these roles are still filled by them. If majority of these roles are also filled by them because of how society was set up from time ago, a lot of people are actually still more traditional than what we like to believe them to be. So even though women could vote these men in all these situations, these are still, Congress is still a majority of men who are writing down these laws, turning them into bills, turning them into laws, and they're still saying, you know what, let's go ahead and greenlight this. Majority of our government is still ran by men. So to kind of say that women are the beneficiaries or women are getting the most action from it, it is kind of false.
Well, it's kind of like a.
It's not working, ET. It's not working. And by the way, next debate, Ali versus Fetty, nothing else. I'll whoop Ali ass. Like, y'all don't want me to debate Ali. Ali is better than me on panels. I'll give him that. That man is the king. We don't need to debate. I'll whoop his motherfucking ass. Shout out to my boy Ilkan Ali with the
cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Oh, can you hear me?
ET, we're going to try one last time. I know it's
My bad, brother. Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, my bad.
Go ahead.
No, I understand. If it happens again, you can kick me. I understand. Sorry about the internet. But it's kind of like an apex fallacy because just because majority of them are men doesn't reflect around majority of the population being men. That's just like saying just because the president's a man, then it's all men's fault just because he's a man. Like, yes, it happens to be that men are in power because for biological differences, there's many different reasons why men are in power, but you can't really just cop out and just say, oh, well, it's men's laws when majority of men have no power and majority of men don't have a say on what happens in the country. It's just like a top echelon of men that are basically making all the rules. And then you're just making a blanket statement saying, well, it's a men's this, it's men's that.
Sorry, I'm trying to stop all these notifications. So
that's no problem.
No, thank you. Thank you for your patience. So Fatty did also say that it is majority of men, especially in the United States. And again, with that being said, this is not to, say anything other than the actual fact is, yes, men are the ones who are putting these laws into place. So even the men who are agreeing and saying, yes, feminist rules should happen, they're the ones who said that it was okay. So instead of blaming women, I'm just saying it's not just women's blame to hold. If you do want somebody to ask, it would be the government. And if men also feel, because Fatty did also enlighten me, majority of men aren't the ones voting, but you guys are majority of the population. So there does seem to be some type of issue in that case, because if men wanted other outcomes, you guys could technically beat us. But it doesn't seem like you do. It doesn't seem like men want other outcomes, honestly.
No, that's not my argument. My argument was that you were saying...
One second.
Oh, go ahead.
Because you are technically right and wrong at the same time, okay? There's more men than women.
Yes.
In overall numbers, but because men are overly incarcerated, men lose their rights if they don't report for draft. There's a bunch of situations that make actually men the minority when it comes to overall voting. So even though there's more men, is very like the things, the age, because women live longer. There's more kids that are men than are women, because women usually live longer than all. There's more actually voting base that is female than male, even though there's overall more men than women.
Can I hit something you just said real quick, Fatty? And then ET, I'm gonna let you have it real quick.
Absolutely.
Because my only issue is who collectively, either A, whose laws are collectively incarcerating these men, and B, who is collectively incarcerating these men.
See, and then it's just back to the blanket statements of it's all men again. This is what I'm saying, where it's just like most men don't have the power to change all of that. Like, like you're talking about like the top 10% when the bottom 90% are the ones dying, ditch digging, just, cannon fodder. And then you're lumping us all together with those top ones that are making all the laws and controlling everything.
Can I ask something real quick?
Go for it.
Is there anything that woman got on the last 50 years that is thanks to woman, or is all of this is thanks to men? Safe society thanks to men, growing grapes thanks to men, the childbirth thanks to men? Like everything is thanks to men because men are the ones passing the rules and doing this.
Yes, and that I'm happy you said that because that was going to be the next thing I said. When it comes down to leadership, unfortunately, I am seeing, and then I'm going to hit what you said, ET, as well. That's okay. But when it comes down to what you just said, Patty, when it comes down to leadership, a lot of times leaders want the praise, but they don't want the booze. And again, the beautiful thing about being a leader and the beautiful thing of why, as a woman, I don't want to be a leader, I don't want the blame that comes with being a leader. When you are a leader, whether you're right, wrong, every good you're going to get comes with every bad that comes with it. And that is also something you have to bear on your shoulders. If you win a war, you still have to bear the...
So according to you, women get no credit because men are the leaders, right?
It's not
if
about
the kids,
that.
If the kids are raised well, the dad is the credit because he's the leader. If the country is the safest, the men are the leaders. If the economy good, men are the leaders. If the like everything good in society goes to men because men are the leaders. So you take completely a woman out of the scope of merit and awards because the men are the leaders. So you put it on men.
So it's a matter of when it comes down to the roles, the reason why you give mothers if the kids do turn out well, you give mothers that grace is because collectively it is the mothers that are in the household. So if we're talking about society, yes, majority of the good things that happen in society, you can still say, yes, men, thank you. You can say that. But again, it is
but what Fatty's saying, but what Fatty's asking is that since you're giving all the onus on men, that means anything that women accomplish, you would have to attribute that to men as well. That's what he's saying. So women basically get no credit, even if they do something good, because men are in charge. So then they don't get any downside and they don't get any upside. It's just all men. That's basically what he's asking.
I mean, for the most part, a lot of the complaints are coming for the fact that men will blame women. So I don't really hear men even saying any good things about it. So I would actually say, yeah, if we're looking at a collective.
What do you mean by men blaming women?
In most case scenarios, everything that we're hearing is complaints about women. Women spend frivolously, even though women are the reasons why the economy is flourishing to this capacity. Women want to be girl bosses, but when men went to war, women were the ones that stood up and said, we got y'all. While y'all are at war, we got y'all. And then we hate the trick down of society.
Hold on. First off, there were still men here taking care of things when men went to war. Not all men went to war. Like, there was a very... Yeah, but you're saying when men went to war, women took care of things. There were still men taking care of things. There was just men that left and men that stayed. I think more men stayed than men that left. I mean, millions of men have died in war, but there was more men that stayed than men that left. You're making it sound like all men left and that women just had to take care of everything. There was still men there doing stuff, especially rich men. They weren't going to get drafted at all. They would never see a draft letter if you were rich.
Right, but
so like I said, that
the men that were in position of power still remain in position of power. None of them went to war, and it was a very small percentage of not small percentage. It was a 1/4 of men that went to the World War. 1/3 of the men stayed and doing their duties, and now women started to do the repetitive chores that those 25% of men that work in factories and on assembly lines couldn't do. So I have a quick question for you, and Eti, I'll let you have a last question, right? RogueC, do you think that you are going to get into massive trouble if you actually keep doing the men are the leaders thing, so they get the credit for the good and bad things, while women don't get credit or the blame for nothing because they are followers? Do you think, because you are a regular panelist, you are an up-and-coming content creator, do you think that you should stick into this position is going to bring you massive trouble in the future if you start debating from a point of view of blaming praising woman, and then all of a sudden somebody says, but you said on that debate that women don't have blame for nothing because they're not leaders? Do you think this is going to open a Pandora's box for it that you can defend in the future?
No, because I do believe in nuance, and I never said that women don't deserve blame. I never said women don't deserve accomplishments. I never said that. I even argued that the whole idea of calling you go girl boss is to adhere to acknowledging a woman's accomplishment. I'm not saying that either or don't exist, but I am saying, logically speaking, if men are the ones in power, they are the ones who are making the laws. They are the ones who are making everything that we know today in society possible.
So now you believe in a nuanced approach. Now you believe that it's not just man's fault, it's woman's fault too.
Yeah, like you believe in nuance then, but what about the nuance when it comes to the
Because
laws?
I explained the nuance with it. The same way where I explained the nuance of chivalry, and when we were asked what is the equivalent, and you guys wanted to say kindness, being a lady is also being kind. So I'm saying the same way that when Fatty asked that question and people were saying, RogueC, you don't want women to change. RogueC never said that. I said women need to become ladies again. So in the same breath, if I am saying that because majority of our leaders are men and not women, yes, the brunt of that goes to the men. Now, when we have more women leaders, if you have a woman boss and that company fails, yes, she is to blame at that because she is the leader of that company. If the household fails and if she's the leader of the household, then yes, she is to blame for that.
So if Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris or Ocasio-Cortez become the president of the United States, now you can start blaming women.
No, you can blame that woman or you can blame those women. Yeah. If they fail at the job. Hold on.
You just separated yourself, RogueC.
Hold on. Because So, okay. So let me say this. I don't like being redundant or saying things that I don't feel like I need to say, but I can break it down more if I need to. So the same way that ET, no, I'm just saying the way that ET was saying, if he wants to say that 10% of men that are in charge, I could say that. But at the end of the day, they're still men. So I'm going to say men. If you want me to name these men, they're still men. If Hillary Clinton or if Kamala Harris failed at the job, yes, you would blame Hillary Clinton. You would blame Kamala. If you want to blame the people who voted for her, you can also do that. But at the end
there
of
are also women in that top 10%. So do you blame those women as well? It's not all exclusively men. There are women in Congress. There are women in power. So do they not exist, or is it still just all men because 90% of it is men, but you're just going to exclude the 10% of women?
You can do that. Of course, no one is saying that you can't do that. But again, if every other time you guys want to look at the majority when it actually benefits your argument, then you also have to look at the majority when it does not benefit your argument.
Sure, but there's the thing, right? We always open the space for nuance because just because, for example, do you believe that if a woman is signing the divorce papers doesn't mean that she to blame? Maybe the man did something that actually made her sign those papers. Do you believe that?
Absolutely. And vice versa too.
So do you believe that just because men are passing those laws, right, they are signing and saying, I want RogueC to vote. I want RogueC to have a credit card. I want RogueC to vote. Do you think there's a massive impact from my brother, my sister, my mother, my daughter, the woman in my life, the woman in society? Do you think there's a massive pressure from that side of society, the woman that vote, as responsibility for me signing that bill?
Yes, there is an influence. The same way, Fatty, you have an influence when you have the ladies for ladies first. There's most definitely an influence. But at the end of the day, if this is something that you're curating and this is something you're creating, guess what you could do? If you wanted to drop me and Melanin the same way they wanted to drop SH, who has the final say so? So yes, me and Melanin can influence certain situations. No doubt about that. But at the end of the day, it is either your choice as a man to allow our influence to make any type of impact on you where you make that choice or to not.
Okay, so let me tell you why you checkmated yourself, right? So you said this. When you said, and again, this is not my debate. The debate is over. This is we exchanging points.
Yeah.
Okay,
tell me.
This is how checkmated yourself. When I ask you if Hillary Clinton or Kamala become president, do we blame woman? You said no, we blame her. That's ET point. The men in power that pass these bills are 0.00001% of the most powerful men in the planet. They are clearly the minority of men. Like 99.99999% of men, they don't have this power. So if you don't extrapolate the blame on woman just because Theresa May or Angela Merkel or Kamala Harris are president because they don't represent all women, you can pick the very, very small percentage of 0.1% of men that are passing these laws when 99.99% of men weren't involved in this situation at all. They just followed the thingy like everybody else. For a fact, and this is kind of why history is important. in most countries in Europe and in the United States in the West, most men couldn't vote either. When men started voting, women literally got the vote 10 years later. And it was just because taxing and property and all these things, the rules were not fair for men too. So women literally got the right to vote, the right to own things very shortly after men could able kind of to do it. So don't you think that's kind of a contradiction for you to isolate the blame if there's a woman in power, but when there's men in power, which is a very small percentage, you extrapolate this to the average population that never had the power to actually make those rules?
Not at all, because again, I just didn't want to do the redundancy. Will I give more nuance? Yes. I'm sorry if more nuance comes because of the bias of being root for the home team, right? But I thought it would be more redundant to just keep saying those men. The same way that I said it's redundant to say man boss. It's redundant. But no, yes, you blame the specific leader at that situation and those that decided to follow the protocol of the leader. Those are usually the people that get blamed. So yes, you can even say white women got the right to vote, black men got the right to vote at around the same time, and white women, black men got it first, and then white women were like, hell no. So that's when they started rallying up black women. So the fact that we know history has these nuances, I think a lot of times when we're just having these conversations, and this is my fault as well for assuming, but I think a lot of people do this, we assume that another person knows what we're saying. So I will apologize for that. But as overall, no, I don't think I checkmated myself by just not saying those men.
It's totally fine. This is my final question, and then close it out if nobody says VSH or nobody pulls up, right? In 2026, RogueC, knowing the state of man and woman, who leads relationships? If you saw an average couple in the street and you had to know who has their way and majority on that relationship, who picks the house, who picks the car, how it's decorated, where the kids go to school, who has sex, who doesn't have sex, what do we eat, where do we go, where do we spend our money, where do we go on vacation? If you had to actually tell us who runs relationships in 2026, would you say on average there's the average man or the average woman?
Average woman.
You think the average woman is in charge of relationships in 2026?
Yes. Based off what you just described, yes. If you're saying who picked the house, who picks where the kids go, yes.
So that kind of defeats your point. Because if they are the leaders, it's their fault.
But again, I'm just going based off your definition. I wouldn't call that leadership. I would call that influence.
So you think that if you decide most overall decisions in our livelihood, especially how long is our marriage going to last? Because women are filing the most. Who gets sex? Because women are the dictators of sex. Who gets married? Because respectfully, women are the engagement queens. It's not men. Women are actually rejecting men from me. You think that they are not the de facto leaders when they control the consumer spending, when they control where the kids go to school, when they control, like they literally have our credit cards. How can a woman have all this power and not be controlled in relationships?
Because you gave your power over. You gave her your credit card. You gave her that choice. If you say no, woman, me and these
sound like victim blaming to me.
That's not victim blaming at all. It's just what it is. If you are saying I gave her the credit card, is that not the fact?
Sure, that's perfect, right? So RogueC, I buy a car. I give it to you. You drive the car against a wall. You decided to do it. You drunk, whatever. Who is responsibility for crashing the car? Me, that bought the car and gave it to you, or you that drove the car drunk and smashed the car against the wall?
That one would be hers, because luckily we do have protocols like her having her own insurance. So yes, insurance is going to deal with her.
Sure. So if I give the power to you and you mishandle that power I gave you, is it your responsibility or my responsibility?
Usually, even if it's my responsibility, if I were to, God forbid, anyone gets in any car crashes, y'all be safe out there. If I were to get into a car crash, usually if I have a man, he's still going to bail me out. If I have my dad, anything like that, even though it's my fault, if you usually do have a man in your life, he is going to bail you out. Now, if you can agree or disagree, if you feel that's right or wrong, but no, most men still kind of take on the helm of the responsibility. I don't think that we can't disagree with that.
So if men are in charge and they fuck up, it's their fault because they are the leaders. If men default to women and they fuck up, men are the fault because they defer to the woman. So
No,
men are at fault when
you're
they're the
not at
leaders.
fault.
No matter what.
Hold on. No, I just said that. If RogueC crashes the car, it's RogueC's fault. It's Kate. It's my fault, right? But usually, in most case scenarios, I have a father, I have a man. That man is still going to usually bail me out of the situation because I am his woman, even though it's not his fault. So that's why I'm saying I think you guys are ignoring the nuances of that. Men do take on the responsibility even when it's not y'all's fault. And that's, I don't know. If you feel like that's unfair, then I would say stop doing it. If you don't feel like
but you just said it was the man's fault because he gave her the credit card, but now you're switching it up and saying something completely different.
I never said it was at fault. We were saying if the woman chooses the house or if the woman buys XYZ because you gave her the credit card, that's why it happened. I just explained why it happens. You are still technically the leader because you're the one giving the money. You're the one giving the power and the ownership of that choice.
Sure.
That's the whole point.
But that will do a infinity pool because you gave me power too. You let me lead you. You gave me your coochie. You let me live with you. You let me procreate with you.
Yes.
You let me decide. Like so it's going. You are going to go in a loop because I have to concede to you and you have to concede to me, regardless of who has power or not. But at the end of the day, if I decided something and I made a mistake, is my responsibility. If you decide something and you made a mistake, is your responsibility. So to sum it up, if we believe that most women lead relationships in 2026 and the state of relationships is probably the worst that ever been, is the responsibility on the women that are leading the majority of relationships or on the men that are following this woman?
Again, because y'all aren't going to like my nuance, so I'm just going to let you have it, Patty, because I just explained
I appreciate. Don't answer. Plead the 50 exactly. Friend, this is not a part of the debate.
It's not. That's why I'm just I'm going to let y'all rock with it.
I think RogueC did a tremendous job. I think Melanin did a tremendous job. And I just don't whoop Melanin ass today because I kind of agree with most of the statements she made. Even though Mel knows there's some things that she says I disagree the most. Okay, so friends, I appreciate y'all. RogueC, tremendous job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Melanin, thank you very much. Miss Riti, nice to meet you, my man. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you too, brother.
And thank you for your internet to become benevolent finally.
And you be safe out there. Definitely be safe out there.
I appreciate you. We're
I've
going
been out
to
here for a minute.
Tomorrow, okay? RogueC and Melanin are going to be on the infamous Ladies First. I have a very special show tomorrow based on some things that was said over here. Okay, so friends, I'm going to kick you out of the show. Do you have final thoughts on anything you want to say in less than 15 seconds? Absolutely not. So I say goodbye to y'all.
Well, show's over. Hope y'all enjoyed it. But nah, don't dip yet. We still got them final thoughts coming.
Y'all really tore it up tonight, huh? But don't dip just yet. Let's hear them final words. Hey, that's it. Show's done. Now shut the fuck up and let the panelists speak. It's time for final thoughts.
Friends, great debate. They did great. And RogueC is actually, she's very slippery. Very slippery. The lie detector. By all types of research, women still would rather have a male boss. So once again, the complaint is just complain. They love the patriarchy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We have Ogin, Mr. Ogin. He says, ladies, it is one of the healthiest debates I ever seen in these YouTube streets. Well done. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We have Willie saying, if women can be drafted, they shouldn't vote. Thank you very much. Willie is the sponsor of the show. Thank you very much, Willie. I hope you have fun on the fight. We have Mr. Eugene. How can woman influence a man? And finally, with Coochie, Dr. Eugene. And finally, Or should I ask what are some ways women influence me? With Gucci again. Friends, appreciate y'all. If y'all watching these on the replay, we didn't meet our goals. Our cash app is dry as fuck, like some of y'all's pussies. No, I'm kidding. But we are going to be here tomorrow. So I'm sending everyone to the Riz Academy. We're going to go to the Riz Academy. Team Fatty and the Untouchable Empire sees you tomorrow for the ladies first show. Peace.
All the comments would be fatty McFat fat, fatty fatty fatty, fat fat, oh look how fat he is, right? Look at that fatty, you know, haha, big fun stupid fatty. I bet he can't go up the stairs and
Ha 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 ha!